have a chance. You goddamn crocodile! Go back to the fucking Florida! Go back to the Florida, you fucking crocodile! You don't deserve me. You don't deserve me. You wouldn't be able to handle me. I'm too powerful for you. My GFE is too strong for you, Chet.
What's up, everybody? Of course, it's Andrew Esquire, Florida attorney over here in Asia. And this is the legal mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. We're back at it today, baby. What is up? Glad to be here. We're going to have a real fun one today with not one. We have two guests, two very, very good guests today. I'm very excited about it. They'll be joining a little bit further in. I told them to join about 30 minutes to an hour into the show, so we'll have them coming in here a little bit later. After I give you guys a little bit of background, we go over some memes, the basic stuff to warm up here today. Yes. Two guests, one lawyer, right? What can happen? And today we are going to be clopping around with the Zaion LanZa versus Nijisanji case. I've come back after doing some research. And one thing I wanted to do is I wanted to do a little bit more research. And I know I do enjoy doing streams normally in the morning over in Eastern time. Of course, it's midday here in Asia. It's 10 a.m. here in Bangkok. I know it's 10 p.m. in the Eastern US. I do prefer to do streams here at nighttime. I prefer that. That's my choice. But in this particular case, I preferred to do it now so I could get a little bit more time to do research, because when it's something that's very law heavy, I like to have read the statutes, I like to have read the relevant law, and I don't like just to ramp off and just to make a comment without having done the research, because we've already read through the Twitlonger, which we'll go back to today in light of the law, but I like to actually go in and understand what I am analyzing and not just rip off the quickest take possible, right? And this is something that happened over a year ago. So this is us going back historically and looking at something that happened over a year ago. So it's not something that happened like yesterday or the day before or whatever. This is something that is a historical issue, but in the light of Nijisanji fucking up regarding Doki Bird, it becomes all the more relevant, and it also shows a pattern of behavior, right? It shows a pattern of behavior that goes on at Nijisanji, whereby they're essentially incompetent managers, right? It shows that they've got this pattern of doing stuff that they're really not supposed to do, or rather not taking care of their talent. The big thing we're going to get into today, one of the biggest things is with Zaion LanZa, is that the managers are not actually managing. And in the case of Zaion, because this is America, specifically California, that actually may be against the law. So we're going to learn here that it may very well be that Nijisanji they weren't just assholes. They were assholes doing things that were illegal, right? Which is very, very interesting. And it brings up a lot of questions, which are questions I've raised on a lot of people's channels, which is, what do we do going forward? And how do people react to these things going forward? So we're going to get into it today. This is actually really fun. And this is the type of stuff I like to do. So I'm really excited about it. But before I do that, let me go over, and I see one of my guests is already here backstage, but let me go over a couple things. First of all, a couple quick notes. And these are kind of future notes. So I obviously am going to cover the VTubing issues. So I've got a couple things coming up this week. I'm going to obviously cover the issue of the Coco case, right? And also we're going to cover Russia eventually, once one of my guests gets her video out. But that said, some other stuff I'm going to cover is stuff in the gaming world. And one thing that just came across my desk, which is really huge, and once again, this is not VTuber related, but it's kind of adjacent, is that there is a new Nintendo lawsuit. This Nintendo is suing the creators of the Switch emulator Yuzu, saying their tech illegally circumvents Nintendo software encryption and facilitates privacy. I've got to look more into this, but this is one I'm definitely going to cover, particularly on my other channel. So this is one that I definitely will cover. So I just want to kind of telegraph that out. I know a lot of you guys are gamers. Probably, maybe you've used an emulator. I won't tell anybody. Don't worry. But this is very interesting because it's an American lawsuit. It's going on in Rhode Island, in the District Court of Rhode Island. So it's an American lawsuit. But part of the real butthurt on the part of Nintendo is what's going on with distribution and what we talked about in Japan, this sort of right to first present, the right to release, right? So in Japan, there's a very specific moral right to be the person who is the first to release something. That's a very big right, a very important right in Japan. And one of the things that they're really harking on here is that it was spoiled by Yuzu, that the emulator actually spoiled the game, right? So this is kind of interesting because they're kind of using these principles that are stronger applied under Japanese law, but they're using it in America. So it's going to be very interesting to see this argument here and to see this play out. There are counter arguments and defenses. This is going to be actually a fairly interesting case here in America and could set some precedent regarding emulators. So we're actually I'm going to talk about this today. Not today, but I'll talk about this another day. Just telling you guys ahead of time, this is something that I think is very interesting and it's worth me looking into. And thank you for those folks that forwarded that to me. There were 2 people that forwarded that to me today, this lawsuit. So I just want to say thank you for bringing that to my attention. Also, thank you to Knight who forwarded me this case on meme, which I thought was great. This is just funny. No pic to retweet. Case on. This model is unrealistic. She never looked like that. Looks exactly like that. That's a funny one from Kason. So anyways, just a little bit of a warm up here today. And then next, this is fantastic. And I want to give all the props here. But before I get this, Melfi, welcome as a new member. Welcome to the BLM. Also, welcome Drunken Finn. Appreciate you guys becoming members. Thank you so much. And then Muzzy Skeleton hooking 20 of you up with free memberships. Make sure you have accept gift memberships turned on. It's in the settings. Make sure you go turn that on so you can get a free membership from Muzzy. Hopefully we have a sea of green. It is lovely to see so many green names in the chat. Mwah, perfect. So I want to just give you a little quick update. So my chat is absolutely the best. And one reason why is during my stream, literally during my stream, somebody converted the ban list into the based list, which was so great. It's actually reentry.co/bandwagons list. Now, I know that the absolute scared little soy boys who made the first list, that made the ban list, they actually deleted their list, right? Because they were scared. But of course, we reframed this. The chat actually went literally during the stream, and they remade this into a list of people to follow. So everybody they tried to ban, they remade this into a follow list, right? Which is absolutely great. And since then, they've gone out and actually edited this and updated this. So I just want to put out this here. So if you look at drama tubers, clippers, YouTuber streamers, so they still got Kyo here, right? They got false base person number 2, Dreamachoose here, Tectone. So they got the same one, Moist Critical, some Ordinary Gamers, Asmon Gold, which by the way, I did an email with some Ordinary Gamers the other day with Nux. I don't know when that's going to drop, but just FYI, that's going to happen right there. Oh, and you guys need this link here. This is the base list. I'll put this in the chat. This is absolutely epic. And I'll also put it in the thing. So they put Asmon Gold still there, Hero, Coefficient, Evan, and then Rev. They added Rev because Rev was salty. So they added him to the base list. So he is now on the list. Rev can finally be happy that he made the list. He's now on the drama tuber, clipper, YouTuber, and streamer list. So congrats, Rev. You made it, bro. You made it. The artists, those are all still there, but let me go down here. So the artists are here. All right. And all the artists, boom, 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 boom. Okay. Indies are here. Indies, corpos, those are all here. That didn't change too much, but now here we go. I love it. So first off, we got all of our people here. We got number 1. I'm just gonna, you know what? I can't leave her. I can't leave my girl in the wings. We got Rima. Rima, how does it feel to be number one on the notable mentions?
Wait. Are you trolling me?
No, this is so Rima. So my chat during the stream where I was going over the ban list, one of the members of my chat recreated the list as a based list.
Oh my God. Oh, that's what you were saying. It looks so similar. I didn't understand that the words had changed.
Yeah, sorry. So they just recreated it and said, follow everybody on here.
That's awesome. I love that.
And subscribe to Legal Mindset, you know? This is what my chat did. Yeah, rewriting history. And they added you here. So it said, based horse girl, go away, Vosh, who gives based takes.
Wait, Kirsha's under there and she gets the fox girl. Why can't I be the fox girl too?
You know what you are. Please come on. let's just accept the role that may or may not have got you to 39.7K subs. By the way, guys, if you aren't doing it, we promised to get her to 40 and she's almost there. So let's just go over here, subscribe to Rima. She's been awesome. She's now on notable mentions, which means you're required by law to follow her. We're going to be suing you if you don't follow her right now.
Yep. Said by a lawyer.
Yeah, exactly. She's already engaged me. Totally. So go ahead and follow her here. Let's get her to 40K. It's such a cool thing to hit those goals, especially like the round numbers.
Oh yeah.
It's so nice. It's so nice.
It feels so good. I love round numbers.
And you really bounced up. You were at I remember even before the Niji stuff, I think you were at like 30-ish, and now you're at almost at 40, right?
Yeah, I think I gained over
like
15,000 subscribers in a month.
Yeah, this last month, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's been a crazy ride.
Yeah. And
Can't complain.
It makes you really validated because like your hard work pays off, you know?
Exactly.
Sometimes with YouTube it doesn't, but then sometimes it does, and it does in a big way. And it's really, really validating when you hit those points and you hit those high points.
Yeah, absolutely.
Based Fox Girl will do base Fox takes. Also, Will the Korsh, which I didn't know what that meant, and she's asserting it means something very, very, very bad. But yeah.
What does she mean by that?
Yeah, I'm like, okay, if that's what you think that means, but I don't think that's what everyone's trying to say. Akira Faye, welcome as a member, appreciate you. And then Cypher Warrior, thank you for gifting 5 Legal Mindset memberships, appreciate you. Out there in YouTube land. Let me just see. Oshino, yes, thank you. Oshino was the one who did this. He said, I'll keep updating it to see more people. The absolute GOAT here in the chat today. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that.
Not for the horse stuff, but thank you for putting me on the list.
Don't change the horse stuff. Keep it on there. Knight says, thanks to YouTube for the notification this time. Yeah, guys, I've been told by a lot of folks that like they're not getting proper notifications. It's nothing new for my channel. Unfortunately, YouTube and I have a very complicated relationship. It's like a situationship here with YouTube where, you know, sometimes they're into me, sometimes they're not. So just make sure you've got the bell ding. Make sure you subscribe. Sometimes you get unsubscribed. So just check that out. Sometimes you got to redo it. Get on that Stream Elements for Dono Slacker. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just too busy, you know, like researching, doing a separate job, making separate videos. Oh, God. Finishing my comic, which, by the way, for those that were around for my Disney days, my Seedy Creek comic, which is about the corruption of Disney, that's going to be done over the weekend. So it'll probably be released early next week. So like the 4th or 5th of March. So for anybody who is around for that, just understand that will be released very soon. Coyote Trickster gifted 50 Legal Mindset members. Thank you so much, Coyote Trickster. Thank you for hooking it up and hooking everybody up, making it a sea of green here. Thank you and appreciate you so much. And guys in the chat, please say thank you to Coyote Trickster. CT's in the chat. Also, I want to point out for you guys, we now have a new emoji for all of those members. For those that may or may not have seen it, let me show you real quick. And this is one of my favorite emojis I've ever seen. We now have the 39 IQ emoji. So please drop some 39 IQs in the chat.
That's
because
good.
we know when we're looking at Nijisanji and we're looking at people with bad takes, oftentimes they've got that 39 IQ. So make sure you're dropping that in the chat if you're a member. It's the type of thing you get access to with these gifts.
That's quite generous, actually.
The 39 IQ.
I have less than that.
You know that's not true. You know that's not true, Rima. Height, they continued their Nijisanji contract almost immediately after the start. Incredibly based company. Pippa Pipkin has nothing to do with this situation. She's just my ocean. She's based as fuck. So go sub
You're
her.
gonna love my next video then.
Oh, great.
Not my next, but next. Yep.
Coming up, yeah. Usada Pecora. She bought
Fighting monkey とかさ。
Thank you for this.
Yeah, great. Ash Cat, Milky Boys, Nibiros VT, Leo Kicklighter, Night on Gale VT, Felix Calenti, Naisama Sama, Nico Kyon, Kira Shizumi, and Dextix LT. Right. So yeah, so go ahead and follow this list. It's great. And of course, please sub to Legal Mindset. And Doki, I'm sure all of you are subbed to Doki, and I'm sure most of you that are here today are subbed to me as well. So thank you for that very, very much. Let's see here. Updated just for Rima. Did you wait? Hold on. Did you update this just for
wait.
Rima? Hold on. Let me.
I'm scared to press refresh.
I'm pressing refresh.
From your face, I can tell it's bad.
This is so good. This is so good. Based, totally not a horse.
Okay, yeah, well, see?
Totally not. But you still don't want Vosh anywhere near you, even if you're not a horse. Just being clear.
True.
Professional Gentleman for 10 said, forgot to include in the last, please consider Ollie's mom's clips. Kuroji Ollie from Hollow ID. Oh, cool. All right. Yeah, I think I've watched some of his clips when we were doing our clip review. Max Murrow says, hello, Max here for the hentai. Stay for drama. What's up, Max? I hope you're doing well over there in Tokyo. He's my good friend in Tokyo. HYBZ said, will you cover VReverie too? I was just told about VReverie, and as you guys know, I'm not the channel that is probably ever going to be the first one to do a take on stuff. I have to do research and see what's there and look at it. I'm a little bit slower in that way because I like to bring more thoughtful analysis. So I just heard about that, I think, from somebody's stream, but I'm not even sure what's going on with VReverie right now in entirety. Rima, are you kind of filled in on that at all?
Yeah, I was just talking about this on my stream, but basically they lost they lost every talent they had except 2. So I don't know what's going to happen with them. But everybody kind of just left. Yeah, they had the 3 graduation yesterday, I think, and then they had another graduation just a few weeks before, and then in January they had another 2 grads. So yeah, everybody's pretty much gone.
So they just lost all their lives. They lost all their VTubers.
Yes, they lost their IPs. So that's very unfortunate.
Now, were they up to then? Were they fine? Or like, was it okay? There was no drama until then?
There is kind of drama because they're kind of talking like they've been neglected a lot, but we don't have much information because obviously there's NDAs involved. So that's what I've told you is pretty much all we know. Right. And I'm going to get into that, especially with Zaion here today with the NDAs and stuff, because this is a big issue. And one of the things I want to say is now I'm going to be very careful what I say here, depending on where they are, depending on what the situation is. But there's certain situations where those NDAs may not be enforceable. So let me just say that very carefully. There's certain situations, not everybody, right? And it's going to be case by case. It's going to depend on the facts. You have to look at it. You have to get a lawyer to look at it. But there may be cases where those NDAs are not enforceable. So just because you've been told, hey, you're going to be required to sign this NDA, it may be something that's not enforceable. Now, there might be reasons why you might want to abide by it. You might want to avoid a lawsuit, which might avoid you being doxxed, right? But that being said, just understand that they're not always something that they're really going to be able to hold you to, where the punishment may not actually come down. In fact, it might go the other way
if they tried to bring it down on you. Of course, no one wants to be doxxed. No one wants to have their identity out there, especially in the VTuber community. So I understand there's a strong interest there, particularly in the US where these cases are public. Japan's a little different. There are, I've been trying for Rusia, and shout out to Max, because actually we were talking about this. It's kind of interesting whether or not the files are public in Japan. Some of them are private, some of them are public. So it's very, very interesting about the particular court files and filings, right? US is much more public. It's much more public. The system is much more accessible. So there are certain circumstances in Japan where you may not be able to get it. It may not be public if you have a lawsuit, but US it would be, right? And similar with Canada. New to this channel. Who's the weirdo with the headphones?
That's a
get
good
out of
one.
here, bro. Good to see you, man. I appreciate you, and I appreciate your support of this channel. And well, I'll be talking more about. I'm gonna have some do a members stream in which I'm gonna do updates on a lot of random stuff, including a lot of the Disney stuff. So that will come maybe later tonight. I'm gonna go see Dune because its first release is today.
Oh, I
so
love
I'm gonna
Dune.
go. Yeah, apparently everybody's given it 10 out of 10. So that I trust has given this 10 out of 10. And these are like base Chads and Stacy's that I really trust them.
Okay.
They're really picky. They're people that like are not easy to please. And they've told me they were glued to the movie. The entire
that's
time.
great.
So I said, bro, I'm going to go then. I'm going to IMAX, like in one of the nicest places here in Bangkok. So which does not have a dirty screen, because apparently one of the IMAXs has a dirty screen, one doesn't. So this is the clean one.
You're going all out.
Horse Clopper. Not
Okay, who made that account? Which one of you did that?
I think it's Billy Aoki because I see his like duck emoji, but he's clearly trolling here. But appreciate you, my friend. Semper Steel says, hey, been loving your content, Mega Base. Keep it up, and thanks. No, guys, I've been having so much fun covering this, and there's like legitimately intriguing legal issues where I've had to do research that like is really, it's fun, it's engaging. And also what I really love is being able to bring on people like Rima, and then we're going to have another guest in a little bit, another about 30 minutes. She'll come on in. Being able to talk to people about these issues, I think it's really fun. And for me, it's interesting getting to know this and getting to discover the people, doing research into them, watching some of their videos. I think it's been really fun for me. Save the horse lady from the globe.
Too late. It's too late for that.
She's been shipped off. Have you taught Rima how to display Supod?
What's that?
I don't even know. It's
you
not
don't
like,
know?
I don't know what that is. I don't know what Supod is. No, I don't know. Maybe this is a reference I'm not getting here. Supernova J Bombastic says there's actually a racehorse named Evenstar. She's a 3-year-old filly. Just saying.
Yep. That
Wait,
is
did you
true.
know that?
Yeah, my chat made me Google it yesterday.
Oh, okay. But you didn't know before.
No, I didn't know before. It's
Okay.
new development.
Okay. New development. Okay. Okay. Michi Lottie says Pippa actually made fun of Niji. Look up What is a Black Company by the clipper Pomu's Left Snot. The names of these clippers are hilarious. Oh, God. Hilarious seeing Pippa trying to hold it in. Well, she probably like trying to be a little bit careful, right? Because obviously, like, I don't think Sakana wants to be dealing with that bullshit from like, dealing with like a Niji lawsuit, right?
Oh, yeah.
Not that they would win. By the way, they wouldn't, right? Because it's just commentary. Once again, that's not gonna come back on them. But and Black Company is not criminal necessarily. It just shows that you're a bit unethical company. So under like Canadian law, which is what would apply, or American law even, because I think Pippa's under American law, they're not going to win that one. Rev Ursal says, first sub to Rima when her Neurosama video. So happy to see how far she's come. Kudos to you both. Yeah, thanks so much. I'm so happy because we're almost at, on my channel, I think almost at 135K, which is so awesome.
Oh, wow.
From like 105 to 135. Fantastic.
That's crazy.
Fantastic. And then let's see. This is great. Jacob Foxfire says for 10, Andrew, I got beef with you. Well, guess what, motherfucker?
Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you!
I'm joking. Ever since you started doing VTuber stuff, my timeline on YouTube is screwed. It's all VTubers, clips, streams, and freaking ads. I have to be careful opening up my phone. Wait, what type of VTubers are you watching where you have to be careful? I think that's more on you than on me. Nijisanji, Gator time.
It's
What's up,
Gator?
Gator? Says, don't let Nijisanji Circus distract you from the fact that I'll be live on Anime Boomers tomorrow at 3 p.m. with spooky Lofty Pixels and Anime Outsider Cody. God help you with Lofty. Also, Pecora bought a...
monkey とかさ。
Nice.
Yes. Thank you, Gator. Appreciate you, bro. And shout out, thank you, Gator, for coming on, helping me, and really getting me into this mess and being my first person to guide me through it. I really appreciated that hookup. Obviously, let me meet Rima, meet False, you know, and now I just did an interview. Like I said, I did an interview with Nux and some Morning Gamers the other day. We're gonna have a lot of other guests on, so like it's looking good. It's looking good, and I'm really loving these collaborations and, you know, dealing with the VTuber world. How's that yacht looking now, Riku? Hashtag sync the yacht. Minovsky Reactor. Shout out to the Minovsky Particles. A human guy and a cartoon horse lady. Who Framed Roger Rabbit 2? I loved Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I think that was like one of my favorite movies growing up because it was so unique. You saw that, right? You've seen that movie?
Nope.
You haven't seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit? It's a classic. It's a classic. It's an old one, and maybe it like makes me like the elder millennial, like it kind of dates you. But it's a good movie. You can see it. It's
I'll
really,
check it
really
out.
good. Check it out. I highly recommend it. And Coyote Trickster for 10 says, for your possible consideration, Andrew, Illuminati has made amendments to her lawsuit. Omegon dropped the story today. It may be interest you. Okay, so how about Coyote? Can you email that to me or tweet it at me? Just shoot it to my email or put it on my radar. I'll look into it. But if you've got like a tweet that you want to forward to me or something like that, or an amendment that you can forward to me, I will take a look at that. So thank you. And then, Mid-Tier Man for 20 says, I know you've been busy with the VTuber stuff, but will you do another Bangkok Bros video soon? I really enjoy your content over there, everybody. Ben is in, my good friend Ben, he's in Kansas. So we're going to post some stuff soon. We pre-recorded one stuff, so we'll post our movie review soon. But he's at his brother's wedding. So sometimes, you know, sometimes on my other channels, especially when I'm collaborating, I don't control other people's schedules. So that can make it kind of difficult sometimes. All right. So let me just jump into this. So we're going to start, obviously, with a little bit of the background. Now, I did an entire stream on Zaion LanZa and giving you guys background. We read the entire TwitLonger. So if you want to see that, you can check out my previous stream on this. It was part of another stream I've already done. So we're not going to go read through the entire TwitLonger. What we are going to do today, the purpose today, is to look at what happened to Zaion LanZa, including what happened with this D's Nuts incident, but not only limited to this. But looking at what happened and whether or not that was actually permissible, particularly under American law, specifically under California labor law, which is something that was pointed out to me is a huge area of potential fighting, right? A potential tension. And why did this pop out? Well, one thing that came up to me when I was looking at this was the fact that this is an area of law that is now being heavily litigated because of esports. So there's actually a lawsuit that asked this question back in 2019. Now, this lawsuit has been settled, but we'll talk about how this kind of started. So essentially, this guy, Tifui, who is one of the biggest, and someone's going to make fun of me for my pronunciation, but whatever, Tifui is how I'm pronouncing it, versus FaZe. So this guy, he sued in Los Angeles court because he had a contract with FaZe, right? And he was a gamer. And he said that, hey, his contract was void because it does not comply with a bunch of California employment laws. And under California law, you have to follow very, very specific rules, particularly regarding talent. And when you're any form of talent, which the definition we'll look at is very broad, you have to follow the California Talent Agency Act, or the TAA, which is in the labor code under labor code section 1700. And actually, it's further than that. But the biggest things are you need to be licensed in California. Okay, so this is a huge one, right? So right away, right, Rima? I mean, obviously that pops out. Oh, you need to be licensed. Guess who's not licensed in California?
Nijisanji.
Nijisanji. They don't have a California license.
This is huge.
Right? Yeah. You have to submit anytime you want to contract with somebody who is talent in California, you must submit your talent contract to the labor commissioner for approval. So any contract that is not submitted with California talent, it's not about where the company is. The company's location is irrelevant. It's where the talent is. If the talent is in California, you need to send the contract to the labor commissioner for approval. Guess who didn't do that? You need to file the fees with the labor commissioner and post a copy of the fees. So how much you're going to pay them, right? Your payment agreement. Like, that's not out there. Guess what they did? We're going to look at, if we look back at the twit longer, we see one of the biggest things that she brought up immediately. She said this was even in the interview, was the fact that when she was in that interview and she asked them how much she was going to make, they pretty much told her, yeah, we're not going to tell you, right? And let me pull this up here. Let me pull up the twit longer here real quick to just show you guys what happened here. So this is the twit longer. This is one girl's story. So this is kind of Zaion's recounting of this, right? And we went through this. We went through all of this, right? So August interview, when I asked about my monthly income, right? So they asked her about how much she made, right? And they just gave the very Japanese, that's very Japanese. In fact, I was literally in the lobby today going to get a coffee, and there's a group of Japanese guys, and they were just like talking to each other, and every other word is It's super Japanese. It's very Japanese. So look what her question is. Do you guys have a monthly schedule or a minimum per month you pay your talent? What was the answer? No. That's illegal in California. Ruh-roh.
Yeah, commissions don't count as a salary under California laws, I assume.
Yeah, it's just, but the thing is, you have to post your percentage, right? So if it's a percentage, right, you've got to post whatever the arrangement is, right?
Okay.
You have to post that. So you have to say, okay, for example, right, we know Nijisanji gives like, what is it, 2% of merch, right?
Yeah.
So whatever, right? You've got to have that out there. You've got to have that available, and you've got to have it listed and posted as like, that's your rate. That's what you have. It's got to be disclosed. So the fact is they didn't do that, and they weren't straightforward about the compensation structure. They didn't tell them how they were compensated. That is straight up illegal in California, right? And look, I'm going to be clear with you guys. I'm not a fan of regulation. I don't like regulation. But if a company that I work with that's a Texas company or a Florida company or a Delaware company has to abide by these laws when they do business in California, well, then I want those to be equally applied to everybody, including Japanese companies, including Canadian companies, Mexican companies, wherever the company is. If they're going to do business there, they have to play by the same rules, right? I don't like the rules either. I don't like regulation either. I'm a very anti-regulation guy. But if we're all playing by the same rules, we need to play by the same rules. And clearly, Nijisanji felt like they could get around that because, well, they're in Japan, right? And I will say this too, just so you guys know, the point here is that Zaion at the time of her contract was in California, right? That's the important thing. So I know I skipped over that to go into California law, but that's one of the important things. And we know that she had a contract based on the termination of contract. So this is still up. This is actually still up on her Twitter, or Russia on Nijisanji, Ian's Twitter, right? this letter of termination from March of last year, so almost a year ago. And now, mind you, the statute of limitations on this still has not run. So if there's any problems here, if there's any issues here, they can still come back for this. There's more than enough time for her to file a claim. And a lot of the things that they've listed here for reasons for termination really come back on Nijisanji. For example, offensive remarks regarding discrimination and essay. Well, actually, under the law, we're going to look at that. They're supposed to give training on harassment and essay and other stuff like that, right? Which they never even gave, right? There's a lot of things that they never did that they're required to do.
Okay.
And another big thing here is that the managers are actually required to manage. I know it sounds crazy, but you're actually required to do your job. And one of the big facts here is that her manager was I believe 2 week, had been there for like
2 week hire. Yep.
2 week old hire. Yeah. So I've just pulled up here the facts. Let me pull up this twit longer. That her manager was a 2 week old hire.
Mm-hmm.
So this person was probably not even competent to manage. And beyond that, this person probably is not licensed in California, which, by the way, they would have to be. So this is where we're getting into a lot of things where it's like, wait a second, Niji. Wait a second, Niji. Like these things are issues. These are issues.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Just welcome, Revenge of the Netherworld. Appreciate that. Go ahead, Rima.
I just said that it makes sense for California to have laws like this to protect this kind of labor because there's just so many of them. But I actually like that. And I feel like there should be more countries that implement laws like this for anything that could be described as talents, because that's the future.
Right. And they need to, and the thing is, we actually need to see people enforcing these, and these do need to be enforced, particularly against companies out of state and out of country, because frankly, they're getting away with murder by using this this virtual kind of loophole, right? Oh, we're in Japan, so it's kind of hard to get us. Well, you know what? Because of that, your future contracts could be presumptively voided, right? So your future contracts, future ability to do business could be prevented because you're now a bad actor, right? You're now a bad actor that's engaged in kind of really abusing California talent, right? And going around these California laws. Because I guarantee there's other California livers that are working with Niji or will work with Niji in the future. It's a big state. So I'm sure some other Californians are going to work with them. And when you look at the code, this is the California code under 1700.4. So let's read what talent agency means, right? Talent agency means a person or corporation which engages in procuring, offering, promising, or attempting to procure employment or engagements for an artist or artists, right? Except that activities of procuring, offering, promising to procure recording contracts for an artist, that's different. Shall not be itself be subject to regulation or licensing. But talent agencies may in addition counsel or direct artists in the development of their professional careers. So essentially it's anybody that procures, offers, promises, or attempts to procure and engage artists or artists. So what is an artist? An artist is an actor or actress rendering services on the legitimate stage in the production of motion pictures, radio artists, musical organizations, directors of legitimate stage, motion picture, radio, musical, writers, cinematographers, composers, lyricists, arrangers, models. That's one right there. Or other artists or persons rendering professional services in motion picture, theatrical, radio, television, or other entertainment enterprises, right? So clearly, even if you say, okay, this isn't motion picture, theater, radio, television, it's definitely other, because this is really intended to cover things like VTubers, right? I mean, the difference is between something that's on a motion picture, radio, or television, and it's just a medium. This is just an internet version of what could go on radio, TV, or in the movie theater, right? This is something that could go on in that realm. It's just now on the internet, right? So people and other legal commentators have come out and said, no, this is something that definitely is going to extend extend outside of this, is going to extend to the internet. Let's see here. And this is something that I said, like I said, people are musing for gamers, for example, that this is going to entirely, this is a legal treatise. This is from 2001. This says this issue would be one of first impression for the CLC, the California Labor Commission. Thus, entire contracts between players and organizations that are not properly licensed under the TAA, such as FaZe, this is talking about the gaming thing, but this would apply for Nijisanji, could still potentially be voided if organizations are careless in their dealings with gamers, meaning they don't get properly licensed, they don't have proper managers. It could void the entire contract between the artist and their unlicensed representatives.
Wow.
So, yeah, this is really big. Like, I cannot understate this on how big this could be to really, not just for Nijisanji, but for really everybody, because this is something where if you even look at law firms that deal with this on a regular basis, the odds of winning are in favor of the artist in California. I think it's right here. A study by Forbes showed that 90% of the cases that go to the labor commissioner, where there's a dispute between the employer and the talent, between the artist and the agent, the artist wins. So the probability of winning is very high, because this is something that is handled by the labor commissioner. It's reported to the labor commissioner, and the labor commissioner picks it up. So the costs are going to be less than the cost would be in another scenario, because the state is picking up this case, right? Because you report it over to the state takes on those costs. So there's potential for big liability here on the part of Nijisanji, and frankly, it's laziness, right? It's laziness because they've decided, hey, we're not going to go in and we're not going to engage in this. We're not going to engage in licensing. We're not going to buy into licensing. Really crazy. Let me just go through some of the statutes here, because this is obviously stuff I find really fascinating, but you can see it all here in the actual statutes themselves, not just the summary. But you can see no person shall engage in or carry on the occupation of a talent agency, like we talked about, without procuring a license from the labor commissioner. It's got to be posted in your office. So Nijisanji doesn't have an office. That's a problem as well, right? And one of the solutions I've talked about is, requiring these companies, if they want to do work in Canada, in the US, to open up an office, right? If you're going to have Nijisanji EN, you should have an EN office.
Yeah, that would make sense, actually.
Right? Like if you're going to hire Americans, you're going to hire Canadians, you should have an office. Even if it's a small office, it doesn't have to be a big office, but you should have a place that people can go and, address complaints that can come in, that you can talk to, you can, file reports if you want to file them with them. You should be required to do that. The fact that they're allowing them to operate and knowingly operate is kind of dangerous there. You've got to apply for a license, right? They didn't do that. You've got to have the name of the applicant, the street number, the bid type of business, right? You got to have all that sort of information. They didn't do that, right? You've got to submit the contracts, right? So you've got to have the entire contract sent in. And look at this. Such approval shall not be withheld as to any proposed contract unless the proposed form of contract is unfair, unjust, and oppressive to the artist. But they're going to look at the contract, and if there's anything in that contract that is unjust, they're going to take that out. And one of the problems is, I think a lot of those provisions that are in there are actually unfair to the talent, right? For in this case, Zaion. Because a lot of what they were holding her to, and a lot of these requirements, particularly, for example, punishing her for using her PL stuff. I mean, like for using her Genshin PL stuff, this is kind of unreasonable, especially when she's engaging on her social media that's her non-Niji social media. I think they might look at that and say, yeah, that's not That's not fair, right?
Yeah.
That you're punishing her for using accounts that are not associated with that and not associated with Nijisanji, right? And like, I think that's a pretty big deal.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, how strong or how much information can an NDA actually cover, even if it's the craziest NDA you've ever heard? Like, are you even allowed to mention you work there? It feels like, is there even a more secretive job than being a VTuber other than like being in the CIA?
Yeah, it's something where like an NDA, look, an NDA can say a lot of things, but typically when they're challenged, they're typically tossed in the trash, especially if they're challenged by the person that's being restrained. And here's the biggest part, Rima, and this is the biggest one. There is actually a code which says that the NDAs are complete trash, right?
Oh.
This is the California code. This is on this is section 166600. Contracts and restraint of trade. This is under the general business regulations, right? Let's just read this. Actually, Rima, do you want to? Can you read this? Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, read that.
All right. Except as provided in this chapter, every contract by which anyone is restrained from engaging in a lawful profession, trade, or business or any kind is to that extent void.
So literally, this language, what this means in plain English is that any NDA that would keep you from doing business as you want to do business, that would keep you from doing your job is void, right? Is actually void. So there's a strong argument that NDA is complete trash. That NDA, they could just throw that out because that's restraining her trade. It's keeping her from advancing herself as a VTuber, right? As a voice actress, it's keeping her back. It's holding her back. So there's a very strong argument that she could just take that NDA and throw it away, right? She would need, obviously, I would consult with a personal attorney to confirm that. But that said, to me, when I read this, I'm like, oh shit, the NDA is trash now, right? This is just trashing the NDA here. So this is a big W for not just Zaion, but anybody in California that has a contract that may have signed an NDA. I know there's others that are in California. I think even some of the Wachter girls were in California as well. I think one of them or two of them were there too. I think they might, if they had to sign an NDA, they might also be able to throw it away. And imagine if they started talking. That'd be huge.
That'd be huge.
That would be huge. So this is a big one. This one was like a nuclear bomb when I found this last night. I'm like, this is really crazy.
Yeah, this is a great discovery. This is like shedding a new angle on this whole thing.
Yeah, and well, it's because look, they've been getting away with doing stuff that's been essentially not just morally and ethically, but frankly, it's looking like more and more of what they're doing is just against the law. But they just get away with it because they're in Japan and they're like, well, we're just gonna do it our way, right?
Yeah.
They're just like, well, we're over here in Japan. Speaking of being assholes, one dickhead. Gifted 10 Legal Mindset memberships. Thank you so much, one dickhead. Guys, drop a monkey in the chat for one dickhead and helping 10 of you go green. Lily Skeever says, how long will you stream for today? 40 hours of riot. No, not that long. If they break California law, how does that violate an NDA? Well, like I said right now, Hayden, so the NDA is a type of contract. An NDA is a form of contract. It's contracting for silence, right? They're giving you something, whatever that is, could be money, right? In exchange for your silence. But if that contract is completely void, you don't have an obligation to follow your end of that contract, right? If that contract is an impermissible contract, if it's restraining your trade, right? Which you can very well argue. You can just say, nope. David Mermain for Aussie 5 says Jessica Rabbit's quote, I'm not bad, I'm just drawn that way, is made for VTubers. Indeed. It is made for the boba. It's made for the boba. Hey, Andrew Rima, I have nothing interesting to say. So here's my usual hydrate and stretch and stay healthy. I got my water right here.
Thank you.
So very much appreciate that. Let's see here. Andrew, don't forget to say hi to Yuki. Who hurt you, Yuki? Who hurt you? Golden Rewatch says, what if the fucking monkey? Hold on. Where is
Fighting
it?
monkey とかさ。
Hired Lopburi monkeys into the NDF. What's Lopburi? Do you know? I don't know what Lopburi is.
Lopburi? I do
No,
not know.
I don't get that reference. Sorry, Gold Rewatch. Kid Loco says the movie where we see Mikey and the Bug Bunny together, is that the only time that happens, or Donald Duck in the Piano War? I didn't see. Get cultured. Solid says unapologetic Chads open their phones and watch streams with lawyers and internet horse girls that say they are foxes. Join us. California strangles all business. No free passes. Time to get Niji into BDSM time. That's what I'm saying. Hey, look, I am not a fan. I had to work with California during COVID. It was a nightmare. It took us months to furlough the employees, meaning to pause them while it was COVID was going on. It took us months to do that. By the time we finished doing that, we literally had to restart them coming back to work.
Oh my God.
So it was a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare. I was involved in that, and it's crazy. But if all businesses have to do that in America, all American businesses have to follow California law, Japanese businesses have to follow that too. Right?
Yeah, obviously.
It's right. The point is like they don't get a free pass because Nihongo, because waifu, right? No, they don't get the free waifu pass, especially when they're abusing the waifus. Like they don't get the pass. This makes me wonder if HoloLive broke California law. Like, do they give their talents a salary? Their managers are great and all, but they're licensed in California. Do they see the contract? This is something that applies to everybody equally, even the good companies, by the way. It doesn't matter whether they're good or bad. The only question is these things don't come up till there's a problem. See, people don't recognize this stuff. The fights don't start till there's a problem, right? Or till somebody comes in and they're like, hey, you didn't do this. So there's going to be a problem here. And what needs to be brought to the attention is that there are these things going on, right? I think when California regulators, the California Labor Commission, when they find out, hey, there's all these VTuber companies that are doing business with Californians and they're skirting this law, they're not going to be happy about that. And certainly there's things they can do to stop that. Absolutely. Coyote Trickster said, by Nurgle, Nintendo and Sega figured out how to localize American offices when they were a necessity 40 years ago. Where do these dumb Fs go to business school? I think they went to business school in like the school of don't give a fuck, because I mean, they're just not caring about any of this, right? Not at all. California strong. Great one there. Let me get two more, and then we're gonna bring in our second guest. I heard of a dog and pony show, but never a lawyer and a pony. And then Stefan says, why does YouTube unsubscribe me? Because YouTube can be very, very, very weird sometimes. Yeah, I had somebody message me, Rima, that they got unsubscribed 4 times.
That's crazy. That
4
sucks.
times in a week.
Oh
It's
my
stupid,
God.
guys. That's why I say make sure you subscribe, ding the notification bell. It really, really helps. And then one last here, Rudabrant Rob says, crazy how Niji's been breaking labor laws of other countries because they're in Japan. Can't wait for this to bite them in the ass in the near future. The second they try to enforce this to stop somebody, and that person has the balls to say "fuck you," to just give them the old
Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you!
like, this is where it's going to go down, right? So they try to do something particularly relating to their past life. They try to do something that is on their own, and they're just like, no, I'm not doing this. And there's a fight. They're going to be in trouble. Right? And this might come down, for example, in a Doki Bird-like situation where they post a video, right? And imagine this. The entire contract is violated to the point where the IP itself is up for debate, where there's a debate on who owns the IP.
Oh,
because if the contract is invalid, that whole agreement over the IP, that's up in the air. And now they've got to litigate that, and presumptively, because the creator's been the one that's actually creating the product, right? Really, the burden is on the company to prove that it's their IP. Without a contract, without a valid contract, the individual may own that IP.
But would the fight happen in California or Japan, or we don't know?
Well, they could. Here's the thing. They would have to, let's say the owner had the balls or lady balls, right? Or we'll just bring in our second guest here. Lydia, how's it going?
Hi, everybody. Hi, Legal Mindset. Hi, Rima. How are you? Meow, meow.
Good to see you
Great.
here. Good to see you here. Thanks for joining. I really liked your coverage the other day.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I did. And
Thank
when you
you.
brought me up, I was like, oh, that's cool. Another person for me to collab with. And you
Yes.
got tagged by 2 people on Twitter. So
Oh.
that brought you to my attention. So thank you to Twitter.
Thank you, Twitter. Thank you, Twitter-sama.
Okay, so let me answer that question. Where would this take place if there was a fight?
Hmm.
Well, they could sue in Japan. Wouldn't really matter because, for example, Zaion is in California, or let's say it's a HoloLive member. They're in California, right? So if Niji wants to stop them, they've actually got to go to California to try to stop them.
Oh,
right?
okay.
So when they go to California and then they try to go to court, they're going to get their entire contract thrown out because we just saw that. Oh, hey, Lydia, you didn't get that.
No, that's right.
You didn't get the scoop.
Nani?
So
What?
the key here, which you know, I was getting into the law a little bit to begin with, is that in California, you need to be licensed in order to contract with California labor. And Zaion, right? LanZa Nijisanji, was at the time in California. And because they failed to do all these things, and I read a bunch of statutes, but this is another one here that says every talent agency Nijisanji would fall under that, shall submit to the labor commissioner the contract, right? And if they don't, the contract is completely invalid, right? The contract is tossed.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah.
There's a bunch of requirements here. So for example, you have to file the fees that are collected. So the fee arrangement, whatever that is, that needs to be filed and it needs to be posted in the office of that company that they have in California, which they don't have.
Oh, so you mean like bits and subs and like kind of like the percentages, like the that makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
They can do a commission arrangement. They can do a percentage. That's not illegal for them to do a percentage. It's fine, but you need to it needs to be posted. It needs to be out there. And what we saw is that Nijisanji didn't want to say how much they were gonna pay, right?
Yeah.
They didn't want to actually talk about that.
Isn't that weird during a job interview? Isn't that like one of the first questions, you know, like, hey, like wouldn't you like just kind of like walk out of an interview like, okay, my guy, I went to the job interview, went through all the hoops. Tell me how much money I'm going to make. I feel like that isn't that normal?
That's literally the most important thing about any contract is the amount you're paid. It's literally the most material term is what the payment is.
Right.
So if they're saying, do you guys have a minimum salary or minimum per month or a monthly salary? No, but if you sign under us, you'll make more than you're making now. Compensation structure was never discussed. That's illegal. Right.
And that's
They've got to have that out there. That's huge because it's how you get paid.
Yes.
Like, it's not a debate. And I understand. Look, I get it. Like, I get that like indies, you know, and I was talking about, I think this with Nux, and he was saying, look, there are indies out there that like, even hearing all this would do a backflip and still sign with Niji, even though they know they're like a shitty company, even though they know they're doing stuff that's not right, they'd still sign with Niji. And I get it, that's fine. But even if you're willing to like sign that deal, it doesn't make it right and it doesn't make it legal.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Like, I mean, I'm not sure legal if you know of the band called the Backstreet Boys. You've heard of them before?
Familiar with them? Yes, I'm familiar with them.
Right. So they had a really bad contract.
Life.
Yes, that's right. Those guys. Yeah. They had a really bad contract with their manager, Lou Pearlman, right?
Yes.
And even though you sign up with a bad contract, you can negotiate your way out of it. That is possible, right? And they did. And they were because Lou Pearlman signed himself out as like the 6th member of the band, and he was getting like all the revenue, and then he was also getting like, you know, lots of like revenue as a member and also as a manager. So like when they actually brought it to the lawyers was like, yo, this was bad. Why did you sign this? But the problem is when it's in like the entertainment industry, people are willing to, like you said, bend over backwards. And like, because Nijisanji has a built-in fan base, right? So like, even if you're there for like a month, it's kind of like, do I take the hit just to like get the exposure, right? So I mean,
it's the devil's bargain. It's the devil's bargain. It's like I'm gonna work at this really shitty place, knowing it's shitty because I'm gonna get fans that I know are gonna follow me, and I'll have those fans, right? So I'm gonna do that. You know, I'm gonna go and do that. Right.
Yeah.
But once again, I think, you know, on a broader level, I think even the governments are going to get involved and be like, hey, look, you're essentially abusing our workers,
Yes.
right? And we typically frown upon that.
Kind of,
Therefore,
yeah.
you should not abuse our workers.
No, human rights is kind of a thing. Yeah. It was crazy.
Yeah, they're kind of important.
Marksman the 117B for $2 says, what is it about horses that attracts cats?
Not this guy. Horses are big, cats are small. Oh my goodness.
Let's see. Loperi monkeys. Oh, that's right. The long-tailed macaques in the Thai city of Loperi. I failed. I will now be kicked out of Thailand.
No.
Oh, thank you guys. Zin says here for 20, he says, at this point, the best case scenario is for California itself to launch a riot or ActaBliz style investigation into Niji. Scorched earth their ability to do business in the 5th largest economy on the planet.
Ooh.
Or not just that, but do it industry wide. Do it into the VTubing industry. Be like, this is specifically to protect people because we now have enough information that this can happen. And look, I want to show you another provision here, which I think is very relevant. There's a lot of stuff that goes into this, particularly regarding like mental health and safety of the artist. So there's a lot of safety stuff.
Yeah.
So for example, this is the one that says every contract is going to be void, but look at this. So you've got to provide this education and training, right? So in California, managers have to manage. You are required.
In every country, managers have to manage.
What does that entail exactly under California law?
That entails, so it's not just in the statutes, it's in the cases. It entails actually trying to help them out and protect them. You have a duty to like actually look out for your client, right? To not allow them to be abused, right? And if you allow your client to be abused, that is actually a violation of this. And there's even requirements for you to give educational materials to your artists, right? To give them in a language that they understand, right? If they're minors, you have to do extra stuff for minors, right? Meaning underage actors, because you're allowed to have, you know, child, quote unquote, child actors, right? Or it's not illegal. You've got to have, you know, obviously your licensing, right? You've got to have information given out regarding nutrition and eating disorders.
Yep.
Right? This is like very, very specific stuff. Here we go. You've got to give educational materials regarding sexual harassment, prevention, retaliation, and reporting. Right? This is relevant for Wactor.
Yep.
Very relevant for Wactor. Right? You know, which I do believe they had a person in California. I may be wrong on that, but I do believe they did. Right? Your every dispute goes to the labor commissioner. So this is a big thing. It starts at the labor commissioner. So it doesn't actually start in court itself. So the labor commissioner can actually take this up by themselves. The state itself can take up that case, which is very important in terms of getting the costs off of the individuals.
Of course.
They've got to post all the fees. There's on certain fees they can't post here. Here's another one. No talent agencies shall send or cause to be sent any artist to any place where the health, safety, or welfare of the artist could be adversely affected. The character of which place a talent agency could be ascertained with a reasonable inquiry. So they've got these duties to like protect their not just their you know general, not just their physical safety, but also their well-being. Their mental health is also part of this,
Absolutely.
right? So if they're putting them in a scenario or situation in which their mental health is at risk, a la Doki Bird, right? You see them, you know, more of this coming up as, okay, did you really follow this?
Right.
Like, did you really follow these regulations? I don't think so. Right?
No, absolutely not. Yeah.
You've also got to have this, another one. All your books, records, and papers have to be open at all times to inspection by the Labor Commission. Right?
Yep.
I guarantee you they're not. All the contracts are not.
Yeah,
they've got to keep these they've got to keep the amount they've paid them. That's huge, right? We don't even know that information.
Nope.
So all this stuff, once again, these are like just provisions on provisions and provisions. I'm just showing you guys the highlights, but I found over 25 different provisions, at least, that they did not follow in California, which is, to me, nuts.
That's crazy. Do they just open branch in every countries and don't follow the regulation? Like, I'm just wondering now. It's opened up so many things. I'm stunned by this information because as
Yeah.
they opened branches in India and Korea,
Yeah.
like in China. Are they following the rules there? I don't
So
know.
what they're trying to no, what I think is they're probably in many places getting away with it because it's online. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you this as somebody who works remotely, who works even over here. I've been working remotely when I was in Korea. I've worked over here in Thailand. I work from Japan often. I'm going to Japan next month. I'll be there working remotely. We've not caught up with the internet age.
No, we haven't.
And this whole people can be on their computer and working, especially from other countries, even that's a thing that hasn't been sorted out, but it needs to be sorted out. And there need to be changes that will protect people even when they're in other countries and give them some sort of remedy, because otherwise, essentially, we're back to the era of the employer can do any abusive thing they want to do to you.
Yeah.
And it's totally okay.
Because they're still Californian citizens. So obviously it needs to abide by the Californian rules. You can't just, well, it's not like this that we do it here. So no, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, because like I mean, even if they did the thing where like you had to go to Japan and you lived in a dorm or something like that, right?
Correct.
As an American citizen, don't you still have some protections, or no? Because you're living.
No, that's different. Now, and that is different. And
okay.
I'm pretty, look, I'm fairly on that. I'm pretty strict. I'm like, all right, if you're living in another country, you follow the rules, right? If you're physically located in another country, for example. Over here, most commonly people ask, are you an English teacher when you're like a person in Asia who's not Asian, who's here, who's not in the military, right? They'll ask, are you in the military? No. Oh, you're an English teacher. No, I'm a lawyer. But everybody assumes you're an English teacher. If you're an English teacher in Korea, Japan, Taiwan, anywhere, right? You are following the laws of that country because you're just like a regular worker who's in that country. That I get.
Like
that
on a
makes
visa
sense.
or whatever.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. You're on a visa. You're there. You're physically working in that country.
Yeah.
But if you are working for a company that is in another country, the analysis becomes more complicated.
Right.
Right. Where's your typical place of residence? Now, if you're traveling, it's one thing. Like, for example, if I'm just picking up my laptop and I'm going to Bali for a weekend, that doesn't mean I'm suddenly subject to Indonesian law. But if I live in the United States the most of the year, and when they make a contract with me, they know that I'm in the United States. I disclose that to them.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
We have our contract where they have my name and address and they know I'm in the US. They should be bound by those laws of the place in which you are residing.
Yeah.
Right.
No, that makes perfect
your
sense.
Permanent residence. Yeah. And it seems fair. Right. So
I
they
guess,
shouldn't be allowed to do something that you can't do, because otherwise we're back into like the child labor era, right?
Yes.
We're
God.
well, we can have like no, but seriously, what's the difference? What's the difference between them breaking child labor laws and having 10-year-olds or 12-year-olds, VTubers that they just completely abuse? Because frankly, if they're willing to abuse one law, they can abuse any law.
Yep.
Right, including child labor.
So is it maybe because like they don't open up physical offices here? Is that maybe because why they're able to skirt some laws?
Yeah, they don't open up physical offices, I think, to dodge that, because they're trying to dodge that. And that's what I'm trying to say. One of the remedies is to require them to do that and say, and just go out and make a statement affirmatively saying, we see what you're doing. We see this as abusive, and we are going to void every single contract that you put in this. Our courts are going to throw out any contract you bring here because they are not properly registered in the state. So we're just going to void any contract. So now you've got to do this. And also it comes at a political level. I mean, obviously they have to call out and kind of shame the Japanese companies and say, look, we're not going to allow this to happen with our talent. I mean, part of this is shaming, and shame does work. It's very effective, especially in Asia.
Yeah. And also if other American companies learn of this, they're going to be pissed off because it's not a rule for, why do I
rules
have
for
to abide
thee, but
by
not for me?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, imagine if it's like a Canadian company, right, that found out that if like a Canadian company found out that an American company gets a loophole, right?
Nah.
And by the way, there's a lot of law between America and Canada about those sort of things. Because we have a long relationship of trade, a long relationship of working together. There's actually pretty clear, like US and Canada have worked these things out. Japan hasn't had that same relationship that like America and Canada have had to work these things out. So the difference is that we're just in a different era where now working with Japan is easy. You just get on your computer and you're working with Japan, right?
Like we're like digital nomads in a way.
Right. Yeah. Essentially, or I mean, people that can be more remote, right? I mean, if I choose to make a contract with a Japanese company, right? Frankly, to me, they've got to apply Thai law because I'm right now residing in Thailand, so they have to do that. And like I've talked about, many countries won't enforce other countries' judgments. So even if Japan went and found me guilty of whatever the hell they wanted to in Japan, it doesn't matter because the country I'm in right now isn't going to enforce their lawsuit. They're going to say it's garbage. You have to bring that in our court, right?
Right.
So that's the way a lot of countries operate, not just here, but many around the world. So this is a very interesting international problem. But what's more interesting is we have a shit ton of super chats. So I have to get to these.
Let's go.
Difficult to pronounce with 50 legal minds and memberships. Thank you so much. Coming up big for us today. Thank you so much. And guys, please say thank you to It's Difficult to Pronounce. Drop a 39 IQ emoji in the chat if you're now enabled with those emojis. Really appreciate y'all and supporting it. As we get more members, I'm adding more stuff, so there'll be more emojis, there'll be more members only streams, stuff like that. So guys, thank you so much for supporting here. Also, real quick, in terms of supporting, now that we have our second guest on, please make sure you go to Lydia Nakazawa's channel and you subscribe. She is at 7.77. So my goal for her is 8K. Let's get her to 8K.
Let's go to 8K.
I know we can do it.
Subscribe.
I know we can do it.
Guys.
Let's get her to 8K. Does really good job and like your coverage.
Thank you.
Of many different issues. And also, Based Pony Girl, we got you at 39.8. So let me refresh this right now. I think we're maybe 39.9. We're so close, guys. 200 more of you. I know you can do it. And we get the Pony Squad up to
the Pony Squad.
Pony.
Also, if you guys aren't subscribed to Seiyu and you know, just randomly, you know, I'm just mentioning this channel. Not that it has any relationship to Zaion whatsoever.
No.
You know, but just might want to subscribe. Get her to 86. She's almost there. 86 is a good year. That's when I was born. So it's very good one there. So subscribe there. For 50, Lily Screws says, I'm new to legally minded. Hold on. Sorry.
Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you!
That's a joke from DN Depressed Nusagi. Who, by the way, Rima, I saw you guys were hanging out the other day.
Yeah.
Which was cool.
Yeah, we hang out a lot.
Cool. No, he's really good. We had a really fun stream together. And had lots to say. I don't care about the law. These bloods think that everybody is a lawyer and understands the law. Well, I am not, and I don't understand it. I only know how to watch funny anime girls. So why is there law? The waifus are learning the law, and they pick up quickly. I like the Spike Man says, "Damn you, Gen Xers and millennials! You're making me miss DS9." Also, hi, Horse Girl and Garu Cat.
Hi.
To all those who want context, she was terminated for using her own Genshin account management, said yes, and pulled a 180 to terminate her. Yes, this is very true. Along with the D's nuts joke, what did Seiyu? Just saying, Seiyu did no wrong. Did no wrong. She did nothing wrong. Sig Zaion. Yeah, no, definitely. The more I'm reading this, the more like, no, not only did she do nothing wrong, but actually stuff like this, the stuff where she got punished for talking to her manager.
Right?
This is such a blatant violation of the law. The manager has a duty to help her. It's not that like she can't reach out to the manager. This is like the inversion or rather perversion of the rule. The manager is supposed to help, not be punished for reaching out for support. This is like a breach of duty here. It's absolutely crazy.
It's because her direct manager wasn't getting what she needed from him, so she went to another manager or like a superior. I think I would need to reread the exact phrasing.
A superior,
and then she got reprimanded for that, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's very strange because like in North America, we have like for most companies, we have kind of like an open door policy, right? Like you have like a pyramid of like, okay, the CEO is at the top, and then this is district manager, blah, blah, blah. right? And like normally, if your manager be acting a fool, you can go to your manager's manager and be like, hey, like I'm having a problem, and they're like, yeah, no problem, we're gonna address it, right? But I
Right.
don't know, like in Japanese companies, it's very much like you don't get to talk to these people. You know, it's like odd.
It's hierarchy. It's very
That's it.
Confucian. It's
Yeah.
very, very strict with the hierarchy. And there's like you can only talk to your direct supervisor and you cannot go anywhere else.
Yes.
And now I know, look, I know some people like that, and some people will argue in favor of hierarchy, and we can have that like theoretical discussion. But guess what? That doesn't work with Western employees, right?
No.
That are not in Japan. It just doesn't work the same way. And like,
Yeah.
especially when you're reaching out for help and like just confiding in them, saying, look, like you feel like you're trapped, you feel like you don't fit in, you feel like your content wasn't welcome. And
Yeah.
so all you did was started sharing how you feel and sharing about your not knowing what to do, right? And asking about the Genshin account, right? Just asking questions, not making demands, not doing anything, just saying that. And then being punished and saying you can never do that again.
Yeah, it's like it's so strange because like you would normally so like a foundation of a house, right? Starts from the bottom, right? And then works your way up, right? So if you got a crumbly foundation, you should probably know about that, right? So the fact that like she tried to escalate it and then she gets a slap on the wrist, it's just like it's kind of ridiculous, right? But like in Japan, they have this thing where it's just like the nail that sticks out gets hammered down, right?
Correct.
So like when you speak out about something, it's just like you must be compliant or you're like ousted, right? So it's like I guess it's very difficult when you have like like a Westerner working for a Japanese company, because here we do things so differently, right? Like we have laws of protection. These nuts. Sorry, these nuts. I love it. Freaking like that's funny. That's funny.
By the way, this is funny, and I don't care that. Look, yes, it's a Florida company, right? But like, I think she actually changed it eventually, like D's with a Z, which is fine.
Yeah.
Right. But like, look, it's clearly a parody. Like, if D's nuts in Florida tried to sue over this, they would lose big time. This is a fucking joke. Right. This is not trying to actually go out there and say this is like marketing for that brand. Okay. So that's really, to me, like just absolutely ridiculous.
That's Nijisanji being super nitpicky for some reason, basically.
Trying to find problems.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
Welcome AZN as a member. Appreciate you very much joining up. Let me get this other one here. Dire Wolf says, holy shit, as someone who despises everything from California ever, can they actually fight on the side of people I care about for once? That's the point, right? Look, I'm once again not a fan of it, but if we have rules, then everyone's got to follow them. That's how I feel about a lot of things. Even if I disagree with the rule, I want to see the rule applied fairly. And there's a lot of rules I disagree with. I just am about fairness. If there's rules for one person, there's gonna be rules for everybody. Yes. Right? And we apply it equally. If we're applying it equally, then I'm okay with it. I may disagree with it. I may see it needs to be overturned. I may see it needs to be changed. It's fine. We can argue about, that. That's a lawyer thing. We do that. But just fairly apply the law, fairly apply the regulation. And what we see is right now, clearly it's not.
Yeah.
Also, welcome, difficult to pronounce, and welcome, and Andy Stoppable. Welcome to the BLM. Let's see here. Ruber and Brob says, crazy how Niji's been breaking labor laws of other countries because they're in Japan. Can't wait for this one to bite them in the ass. Yes, it undoubtedly will. Zacho Person says, Zaion on top, Rima goes clop. Let's go. Monkey. Kite Trick says, good Lord. I just realized that Niji disavowing former talent could be an issue with federal income tax. Yes. Don't mess with the tax man.
No.
Or I'm not halfway through a bottle of Southern Comfort and no tax expert lawyer. And by the way, I'm not a tax lawyer either. And actually, what's funny is I actually have to I have an affirmative duty to say I don't have a tax specialization. So I can say that might be a tax issue. I would have to talk with one of my colleagues who is a tax lawyer, because typically they go on and get an additional certification or additional degree in tax beyond a basic law degree. So more than, I went to school for 9 years, but for most lawyers in the US, you got to go at least 7.
Wow.
You would have to go at least 8 years to get to do tax.
Oh,
so
wow.
Yeah, it's a lot.
The IRS is not playing.
No, and they keep the code intentionally difficult for reasons because they want to make money. But yeah, no, it's possible. It's possible. And once again, were they paying their taxes? We don't know. We just don't know.
We don't have a payment structure. We have no clue how much they make.
we have no records. We don't know whether, and I'm sure California is interested in taxes because they're needing money. So yeah,
absolutely, yes.
They should go to the school at Nepotism University of new money at the local Japanese. Yes. Are you saying if a talent has no Japanese assets and is in California, Niji can't really do anything? What are you going to do? So the whole point is like, what money are you going to get? So let's say that Niji wins in California. In Japan. They sue in Japan. The remedy is only in Japan. California, there's no agreement with the United States to enforce Japanese law. Now, only a couple of countries have those sort of agreements. Like, for example, Korea and Japan sort of have an agreement to enforce each other's laws, but there's limitations. Like, it has to be under specific things for specific reasons. But you have to have an agreement that says, we're going to allow you to enforce your laws. Otherwise, no, they actually have to bring an entirely new lawsuit because where's your bank account? Where's your property? Let's say you own a house. Where is that? Is that in Japan? No, it's in California, probably, if you live in California. So to get your California stuff, they're going to need to go after you in California, and they're going to lose. Yeah. So that's what I'm talking about. Like, it's a defensive thing, right? Once again, I'm not talking about necessarily going offensively. I'm talking about mainly using this defensively or as a counterattack, right? They come after you, you counterattack them with this. It's like a punch, counterpunch, right? And that's where I think we're for VTubers. Hopefully they get information like this. Hopefully people that are out there, not just in Nijisanji, but Hollow Live, Cover, Phase, Sorry Sakana, right? Like even though they're in Canada, right? I mean, it's fine, but just understand that just because they're in Canada doesn't mean they don't have to follow rules in other countries.
Right. Exactly.
Let's see. Marksman 117 says every other horse video has a cat riding on his back. Quick legal. Flip Rima and Lydia stream Nintendos. The horse carries the fleet. There we go. There we go.
Oh, no. We're the picture now.
Oh, God. Rip future Cali VTubers trying to get into Corpos. Okay. Griminy crap. YouTube got copy striked by Niji. Well, the problem is, let me just be clear. Copy strikes are kind of like an extra legal thing. And there's a lot that YouTube does that doesn't necessarily follow the law to the letter.
Nope.
The way they do their system is in favor of the corpos.
Yes.
It's not necessarily what the law demands. And that's one thing that I've been really big that should be regulated and should be changed.
Yep.
But we need some from the top change on that says YouTube, you know, especially YouTube as an American company, it really needs to be an American regulation that comes out and says, okay, YouTube, the way you're doing these DMCA strikes is not right. You need to presumptively put this in favor of the person who's creating the content. When they say that this is fair use, you need to, until it is proven in a court that it is not, you need to allow it to be up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the presumption should be in their favor, not the other way around, where the corporation gets the presumptions in their favor to take it down, right? That's bullshit. And that's not the law.
Yeah.
You know,
but YouTube likes the money.
They love the money. Phoenix says, will we be ponying up to the legal? What's up? 40K subs, says Rima, chomping at the bit. Let's bring this thoroughbred the win. Embrace the Kitsune chaos. Riku seems to be one of Dr. Evil's 2-bit henchmen. Just wait for the cat jokes. They're coming. They're coming. Kieran says, well, I just realized something. Rima is Mia Fey. Legal Mindset is Phoenix Wright. Lydia is Maya Fey.
Oh my God, it's true.
Also, hello, horse and cat girls. You two actually know the law better than Niji sisters.
Yeah, that we do.
You do now. You definitely do now. High on Caffeine says, good night, mate. What are you doing to put a lawyer, a horse girl, and a cat girl in a stream together?
Fighting monkey.
Meme request and the best law discussion ever. Jadon, my soul. Great meme, by the way. I'm glad I watched that one. Lydia is over 8K. Oh, wait, let's check it out. Is this true? Have to confirm. Hold on. Let's confirm. Let's confirm. You're already over 8K. That is fantastic. Yay! Look at that. You are 8008. So almost 8,100.
Oh my goodness.
So there you go. Shout out. We did it. Thank you guys for coming through for Lydia. First time guest on the channel.
Thank you.
clopping through here. Appreciate that.
Clap.
And soon I'm sure we'll have our based horse girl at 40K. She's so close. She's so close.
So
let's see.
close.
She's at 39.8. So close. Semi-Electric said about the D's nuts thing. Movies and fictional books have a disclaimer that any references to real things are purely coincidental. Why couldn't EG have done this and managers are awful? Yeah, South Park. If anybody's seen South Park,
Yeah.
right? You don't need the disclaimer. The disclaimer is not necessarily required, but it definitely helps. But frankly, look, obviously that's humorous, right? The intent there is funny. It's
Yes.
not intent to sell these nuts. She's not selling these nuts.
No.
If she was selling a product that was labeled these nuts, yes, that would be more questionable. It was a joke, right? Very, very clearly.
But like, also, couldn't you have the same name? Like, even though like you do different things and you're in different places?
That's actually interesting. So in different countries, the law is different.
Right.
So
okay.
US, you might have more of a problem if you have the same name. But for example, here in Thailand, right, the way it works, according to me talking to Thai lawyers, I'm not a Thai lawyer, but it's me talking to Thai lawyers. I work with them as part of one of my businesses, helping people get visas here. I talk a lot with Thai lawyers, and they have explained to me that if two businesses are doing different things, let's say there's one business that sells orange juice and another business that sells record labels, right? And it's called like the Orange Club, right? And they're both called the Orange Club.
Yes.
Right? It's okay because they do different things.
Yeah, because I think in Canada, I'm pretty sure that's the same thing. Where just because the intention isn't the same. If you were like both like, you know, like a sub place and you both called yourself the same name, you'd be like, hey, no you, like, you know, like the Spider-Man meme, no you, you're a sandwich, no, you're a sandwich. So like, but if you're doing different things, then I mean, does it really matter? I guess it depends. You're right. It does depend on the country. You're right.
Yeah, and in some countries they can say, in the way the law works as well, there's going to be quote unquote brand confusion. So people are going to get confused and they're going to think it's the same thing, but it's not. But then other countries say, no. If it's different, it's different. So for example, I saw a bar here. I took a picture and I sent it to my Thai lawyer colleague. The bar is called literally the Laura Croft Bar, and it's got like a shadow picture of Laura Croft on it.
Yes.
And I was like, well, that shit would be wildly illegal in the US.
Yes.
But here it's just not, because it's a bar.
Right.
And Tomb Raider doesn't operate a bar, right? EA doesn't operate bars.
Yes.
So there's no way they're going to be able to claim against them, even if they tried. And they wouldn't even bother to do it. It's just not even worth it.
I mean, like, what if like the bar owner is just like, her name is Laura Croft, you know? And she's got like pictures of boobs. You have no idea. Whatever. No judgment.
Yeah, she could look like that. Yeah, she could look exactly like the video game silhouette. Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, exactly.
Oyamada 13 says, in my opinion on the D's nuts issue, Niji is the best at making excuses, saying the Florida company will sue for copyright, but that is furthest from the truth. This is free publicity for the Florida company and no dime for Niji. Yeah, I don't think like the little old grandma in Jacksonville, Florida is going to complain about getting free advertising.
No.
If anything, it's like great for them. People usually pay for advertising. Like, so you got to understand that stuff like that, like it would just be free advertising for them.
Yeah.
Hey, they also weren't competing for the same market at all.
No.
So
and once again, you know, advertising, oftentimes, even if it's bad advertising, that's still actually good for you.
Yes.
So
any publicity is good publicity.
Yes, we've seen that, and oftentimes politicians take advantage of that.
Yes.
Hurt in Face, welcome as a new member. Appreciate you. Phoenix says, would love to see South Park roast Nijisanji in an episode on VTubers. I can only imagine a South Park VTuber.
Oh my God.
that'd be very good. I'd watch that.
I feel like Cartman would like be the evil corpo.
Yes, Cartman would run. I mean, have you seen the Cartman like slave one where he's like, "My sir, it doesn't matter fine." Like, let me just get the one. This is the Cartman slave.
You'd make like Butters his like one talent. He just abuses.
Yeah. Here you go. I don't know if you guys have seen this. We may get like no, it's only 2 minutes. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have seen this. This is like this one. This one just reminds me of Nijisanji. Like just replace University of Colorado at Boulder with Nijisanji, and this completely works.
Dean Howland, a representative from another prestigious institution, is here to see you.
A what?
Send him in.
Hello there. The name is Eric P. Cartman. I'm a well-respected owner in the slave trade.
In the what?
My peaches, what a wonderful office you got yourself, y'all.
Oh my
Certainly got
God.
yourself lucrative business, don't you? Well, let me get right down to it then. Like yourself, I'm also in the slave trade. But at the moment, I find myself in a little quandary with legal issues. Was wondering if you could share some secrets.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You have some mighty strong-looking workers here, sir. I'd be willing to offer you $40 for 2 of the white ones and $50 for the blacks.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
let's stop it.
Oh my God. No.
What I'm saying is like, imagine that just redone with VTubers. Like,
my
like
goodness.
it's like totally doable. Like, I'll offer you 40 for the kitties and 120 for the horse girl.
It would be 2%.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh my God.
Oh, terrible.
Oh.
All right, Trey
that's
Parker,
like
Mets, don't get on that.
Like internet people, if you could get on redoing that with Nijisanji, like redo that meme with Nijisanji. Oh yeah, by the way, guys, that just set the stream yellow. So if you guys want to like the video, please, because we just got partially demonetized.
No.
I know.
happens.
I pulled the trigger before 2 hours, which is what gets me in the naughty camp. It just happens. It just happens. But actually, the funny thing is, like, when I've been doing the review, like, they'll get back to me like 2 days later when they look at it and be like, all right, fine, this was not as bad as I thought it would be. But for now, we're demonetized. So guys, smash the like button, share this out, put it out there on Twitter. We have 3,145 of you in here today, which is awesome.
Holy moly.
So thank you so much for coming out. And also, please do support my two guests here, Lydia and Rima. They are both awesome for joining. And I love supporting people and helping people grow, especially people that are putting out really good information. So I really do appreciate that. And I also want to say thank you because you've already helped them grow. Lydia's already at 8.17. So that's really awesome.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
And then
Wow.
our girl Rima is almost there. She's at 39.9. We just got another 100 and we got our girl at 40K. And then she's set at 40K. It's horse girl official. I mean, that's just it's over. It's over. And Powder Craig Greg says, hey, yo, Andrew, you hear Nintendo is suing the creators of Yuzu, a Switch emulator. They're claiming it's violations of copyright and promotes piracy. In the beginning of the stream, I said this. I know that only 1,000 of you, I think, were on in the beginning, and now it's 3,000. So maybe you missed it. So I will be covering that in a future stream. But like always, I want time to do research, want time to look into it, look at the relevant law, right? But I will cover that on a future stream. Because I know, look, there's a big tie over, I think, between like people who are into VTubing and gaming and anime as well, right? That all kind of links together.
The trifecta.
And also, like, the thing is, if you're a VTuber and you're using one of these things, right? Is that permissible or not? Right? That's a big question. And if the emulator is ruled as okay, then that kind of opens a lot of doors for you to do things that maybe you couldn't do before. Yeah. Tequila Kitty says, turn the stream yellow, you say.
Nice.
Thank you so much for the yellow there, Tequila Kitty. We'll definitely have some tequila later tonight. Appreciate that. Coyote Churcher says, don't try to put it past EA to open a bar just to spite the mom and pop bar. That would be some petty corpo shit. But guess what actually happens in that scenario?
Oh.
The bar that's opened first gets precedent.
No.
So the one that is already open, called Laura Croft, can sue EA and block EA from coming in the bar industry.
No way.
So EA would get felted in that case. Semi-Eclectic says, contributing to the yellow stream. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you guys for backing me up and supporting me. And also I want to say just a general thank you over the past week. It's been really awesome doing these streams and, having you guys come out and support me. I know that I typically try to stream in the morning, but sometimes I'll switch it up to the evening, particularly if it's something I want to do a lot of research on. I'll stay up late at night doing the research, making sure I'm ready, queuing things up, and then go in the morning. So just want to thank you for being flexible with me guys today, and I really just appreciate that. Kieran says, both of you gals deserve 100K. Rima and Lydia.
Thank you.
Also,
Thank you.
another challenge for you: don't bring up small indies. Don't bring in other VTubers from agencies like FaZe Connect, and don't call in other judges. So I said to them, so this is a kind of an inside joke. I saw my chat, like, if you tell me not to do something, I'm going to do it. You know, so all I read there is bring in small indies, bring in other VTubers from FaZe Connect, and bring in other judges. Yes, yes. We will have other people on this channel, particularly people as they get interested.
Are you able to like talk to judges privately, or is that considered like a conflict of interest?
A judge would not come on my channel. There's a lot of reasons why. Like, look, even lawyers are a lot of them are gun shy because they don't want to have complaints. They don't want to have people messing with them, particularly if they run certain types of businesses. They may be gun shy, and understandable, right? If you run a practice and you've got clients, there's some things you can get in trouble for. Maybe your clients don't want you to say these things, right? It's kind of because I'm an independent person, because I do multiple things, which are really some things are like outside the US, right? I do YouTube and YouTube's kind of my main thing. And then I have on the top of that, I've got helping people come over here to Asia, whether it's Korea, Japan, or Thailand, helping them with visas, doing consultations for that, and then doing random legal work for the US, but on a one-to-one basis with only word of mouth clients. I don't take anybody who's not personally recommended to me. So like the way I practice kind of insulates me from a lot of the bullshit that I would do if I just had a like regular like, hey, I'm chasing around clients, right? Because you might scare off clients, and you might have people coming out there saying you're a bad lawyer, you're giving bad takes. You might have people saying that they're your client, filing a false bar complaint, right? It's like
people do that.
It happens a lot. Oh my god.
Boo.
Oh my god. People do it all the time. They file bullshit bar complaints. It's annoying. It's very annoying.
And do you have to like line up at the bar and there's like, hey, someone complained about you, and like, do you get like a paddling? Like, what exactly happened?
Well, they can disbar you, or they can literally take your license away to practice. But to be clear, that would never usually that only happens if you're like stealing clients' money.
Okay,
right.
That's fair.
So like it can happen, right? And by the way, we want that to happen. That's a good thing, because if you're stealing from a client, you should not be a lawyer.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's fair, right? But when a non-client is just complaining about you and your opinion on the internet, the bar's going to laugh at that, wipe their ass with it, and throw in the trash can. Like, okay, you're mad at me for an opinion. Like, just because you're a lawyer doesn't mean you don't have free speech anymore. Right? It doesn't like get rid of your free speech right.
No.
So like, fuck off. Like, and by the way, that's like one of the Niji supporters like main attacks is like, oh well, he has political opinions on some of his older videos. Oh my God, sue me, right? You won't win. Professional gentlemen, they call me Mellow Yellow. Appreciate it. Like the stream. Let's get here. Golden talents and a golden lawyer deserve golden supas. Appreciate you. Go Gusto. Is it difficult to pronounce this? Is Rima a horsey girl? No. Is Rima a horsey fox girl or a foxy horse girl? I think we know. I think we have the answer.
Oh my goodness.
Oh God, this reminded me. There's a restaurant in Paraguay called Mickey that uses Mickey Mouse as a logo. Disney sued but lost cause. It was a side view of Mickey and not the front.
Really?
Interesting. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. These are not open and shut cases, right? These are things you'd have to litigate in those countries. And just because the law may be one way in Japan doesn't mean it's an automatic W in another country. So just throwing that out there.
Oh boy.
Coyote Trickster says, Shame agreed. Never forget money talks louder than people. And that's why I say one thing we can do is you get to control your money, right? So like with all of these bad actors, right? Like Nijisanji, Wactor, right? Not giving them your money is like probably the best way to say like, hey, I'm not supporting you, right?
Speak with your wallet.
Yeah. I mean, even if there's no case, even if there's never a lawsuit by Zaion or Doki or anybody else, you can say, look, I'm just not, until they fix their stuff, until they right their behavior, we're not participating and engaging with them, right?
Yeah, I don't actually think there's going to be a lawsuit.
I don't either. But I'm the lawyer here. I would be incentivized to do that. And I still don't think there's going to be one.
I think a lot of people are like afraid of legal action, but like, yeah, like actually it happening and it following through, probably slim.
I think the more reassuring thing is when I say, and I think other lawyers have said, look, there's not much of a chance of Niji attacking. So I think the bigger threat is like Niji suing these people, whether it's Zaion or whether it's Doki in Canada or the US respectively. And then us coming out, me coming out and saying, if they do that, they will lose.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's the more reassuring thing for the talent is, look, these people can threaten you, but like their actual remedy is not that great. Now, the one thing they may do is they may hold back your payment. Right. And that's going to be hard to get. You are probably going to have to just suck that up.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
So,
the other thing they could do, I don't know, this happens a lot in America.
Your
where
play
it's just
button.
like,
They're going to keep your play button. You're not going to get
They
that
already
shit.
do that, so you're not missing
And you're
much.
not going to get it. You're not going to get it back.
this
That's
is
not
true.
going to happen.
Yeah. Like I think in America, don't they also like take okay, I don't know. Have you heard of Billy Mitchell before?
Billy Mitchell? In what context?
Okay, so like legally, he's the guy who did the
arcade gamer.
The arcade guy, right? Yeah, that's exactly right. So like a lot of times what he does is when he sues people, he sues people, but like also it takes a long time and then it incurs a lot of legal fees. So it encourages the person to settle, right? So is that something that Niji could do?
So that's what Niji's strategy might be. But what I'm saying is the defense is that they can turn this over to the state. So let's say they, in this case with California, they try to come after Zaion, let's just say.
Yeah.
Well, she just turns this over to the labor commissioner. So the state itself, state of California, would be bearing those costs. And you're not going to like Niji's not going to out money the state of California, right? They're just going to borrow more money. California has shown California is very good at borrowing money and going into debt. They're very good at that. So they'll do that to handle the loss. They're not going to run out of money. They're not going to outsue a government, right? Like Niji was going to run out of money before California will. So
I suppose that's true.
And they can just slow it down. The state can go very slowly on that. So the state can slow down Niji. So that might actually make it so they settle. Same thing in Canada. If, for example, they try to come after there, then they could turn that over and say, hey, well, this is a privacy violation, a labor violation. And then you've got to argue this with Canada, right? And you're not going to outspend Canada, right? So the big thing is trying to shift this burden onto somebody that can bear it, right? Because you're right. If it's individual to individual, that's how they win, right? Is you just like cost them so much money that you eventually settle.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think like Niji will not sue because they're afraid of discovery?
Oh, discovery would be absolutely devastating for them. If all they would need to do is get discovery, and the PR would be horrible, it would tank the company. I mean, I think you'd have, and you probably have even Japanese shareholders coming for them at that point, because I think you're getting documents and stuff revealed you don't want to reveal, especially in an American or a Canadian court. In a Canadian court, it's going to be embarrassing.
Yeah.
Because in a Japanese court, you might be able to keep stuff private. There might be able to be agreements. The judge is going to be favorable to you, right? But in a Canadian court, no way. No way. You're playing by different rules.
Yes.
So you're going to be required to submit stuff. And if you don't, they're just going to lose.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a huge black eye, because and not just for them, but the entire industry. They're going to lose face for the entire industry and for all of Japan, right? Which is a bigger issue, is that when these companies start losing face for the entire country, that's when things will change. When all of Japan is looking bad because of one bad Japanese company.
Yeah, because we saw that on the stock market, the Japanese stock market, Yahoo Trading, right, where there's Japanese people saying like, "Hey, this is like not looking good," and you're like, "Oh, it's coming." I was like, "Go ahead."
Lionel Paulus for 10 says, when the government finds out they're not getting a company is dodging payments, there's one thing in Canada, it's the government wanting their money. And that's one of the things I'm talking about. One of the pushes is like they're going to see that they're losing out on revenue, and because they're losing out on revenue, they're going to want to, get that revenue.
They're going to get some agents on that.
But I feel like they've been able to do this because they're on the internet and it's not being regulated. So they kind of get to do this without anybody noticing right now.
High on caffeine. This is a very good point. And let me talk out this one for you. It's not as simple as you're putting it. Well, I'm not claiming it's simple, high on caffeine. This is not a simple thing. This is complicated, right?
It's not all black and white, lots of gray.
So if I apologize if you felt like I was making this seem like it was very simple, but let me continue. You're saying contractors will lose their jobs without line of thinking because the laws in my country are crazy. It's a complicated issue, but I don't like regulation. And I'm no fan of regulation either. You can go back to my long YouTube history before VTube, and you can see I am definitely not a fan of legislation. I am super not a fan of California. I'm way on the record about that. But the problem is an equal application of the law. And I think countries in general are going to have a problem with this if they find that their labor is being exploited, right, in a way that they would not permit, right? So for example, I'll just say minors, right? We'll talk about children, child labor, right? Most countries would have a problem if they found out that other foreign companies were putting children to work, right? I'm just giving you an example of a law that most other people would be angry about, that would kind of piss people off. And in fact, I've actually had some calls about this where, you know, like Instagram clips and stuff like that, like Instagram clips and TikTok reels, right? Where people are having minors do their TikTok clips because, you know, people are posting on TikTok at age like 14, right? Like TikTokers are kids, right?
Does that violate the TikTok terms of service? Like, aren't you supposed to be like,
probably? But the thing is, they're just getting away with it, right?
Okay.
And then parents will say, well, what can we do about this? I'm like, well, you could sue them, but it's just difficult right now because we don't have the right pathways to handle that, and they need to be developed. And look, I'm not for regulation in general, but we just need to have a better avenue for redressing these concerns, right? And I'm not for all contractors going away. I think there should be an ability to be a contractor, but understand, high on caffeine, a contractor and an employee are different.
Yes.
Okay. An employee is under the control. This is putting it simply. An employee is under the control of a company. A company controls an employee. They control what they do, when they do it, how they do it. Contractor is free to do it whenever the fuck they want to do it. Right. I'm for contracting. Contracting is fine. Doing a project, saying this is one project, do it how you want, on your own time, when you want, deliver it. That's fine. You're free to do that. That's free to contract to do that. That's one thing. When you're having an employee like a VTuber that is told when and what you're doing and how you're doing it, that as a manager, that's an employee. That's not a contractor anymore. Now, if the VTubing company, if the sponsor, if they're just providing, for example, sponsorship opportunities, they're just saying, look, we're just sourcing sponsorship opportunities, and the only thing we're doing is getting you sponsors, and we take a cut of the sponsorship. That's an independent contractor situation, right? Because all you're doing is saying, okay, we're going to get you a contract for to do something for what is it, Hyde Games or whatever.
Hyde Gaming,
Hyde Gaming. You know, we're going to get you the Hyde Gaming contract. We're going to take 25% when you get to keep 75%. That's fine. That's you're not an employee of them just because they come up with that arrangement. That's just a one-time deal, right? They're finding a sponsor for you. And even so they're saying, okay,
for Niji.
What is it, like Raid Shadow Legends or something like that? You know, we're going to go and it could be 50-50, it could be 70-30, you know, it probably would be better than 2%. I'll tell you that.
Right, exactly.
Right. Because like another sponsorship company is going to come up. Semi-Light says more yellow. Every time I hear Cali, my brain keeps jumping to Maury Callipy and not California. Welcome to the rabbit hole.
Same.
It goes deep. Discovery in an American case would make Hiroshima and Nagasaki look like... You're going full Johnny Somali on that one, Coyote Trickster. Thank you. Proxy says, hey, Legal Mindset, have you seen a video by Sid Snap saying the hentai that brought this man to jail where Magna Arvis was committed? It's interesting to cover. Let me watch that off camera.
Incognito.
Appreciate that. Let me get this one. Modern Life Dating for 50 said, who are these hot babes and are they coming with us to Manila? Great work, man. Love your work. Been walking Tokyo soon, but until then I will play Final Fantasy 2 tomorrow. Awesome. Yeah, no, looking forward to Final Fantasy. Should be great to cover. That's like great gaming, peak gaming.
I love Final Fantasy.
Peak gaming.
I have
peak
a
gaming.
Final Fantasy guild in my Discord too. Yeah.
Nice.
I love it.
No, I probably will. I even thought about getting a PS5 for that. I don't even own a PS5, but I was like, damn, I think I may have to get it for that.
Yeah,
But
retro.
The console seller, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know. But if anybody's ever interested in going to and traveling to Asia, obviously one of the other things I do is I advise people on moving to Asia, whether it's Tokyo or whether it's Japan, Korea, Thailand, or the Philippines. And I will be there recently. So if anybody's ever interested in coming out, visiting, having a good time, or getting a visa, you can always hit me up, Andrew Esquire live@gmail.com or goeastgentleman@gmail.com, which is where I do my consultations for that. That's like one of the many things I do. The end says Zaion going to her manager's manager made her manager lose face.
Yep.
A lot of managers there, which Japan probably considers like a soft form of defamation, is my best guess. Is that in the right ballpark? Yeah, it's like you made them lose face, and you're like kind of violated what is a norm in Japan. Like it's like kind of not industry's quote unquote standard.
Yeah.
So the judge is not going to look at that as favorably in Japan as California, where they're going to be like, what the hell is going on here? Like, this is not okay.
Yeah.
Right. This is definitely not okay. If you're coming with a workplace complaint to a manager's manager, no. Adding to the yellow stream, saying hi to the foe, I mean, horse, Rima, and reminding Lydia to rub her ham. Ham? Rub your ham? Explain.
Oh my god. Okay, so I play Among Us, and like you have like a little pet, right? And like, but like I don't have a lot of beans. You know, I'm just at like the beginning of bean collecting. So like the pet Ham, and he's just really cute, and like you can pet him with like the giant hand, right? And just a lot of times when you pet the Ham, you know, you're distracted, and then you get murdered pretty easily. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna pet my Ham, and then everyone thinks it's hilarious. It's cute. You should play Among Us sometime. It's fun.
I have not, but I've seen a lot of video playing it, which looks fun.
I feel like as a lawyer, you'd be good at negotiating your way out of murder.
Yes.
Like, it wasn't me.
But you know what's fun? There's also a problem when you play any game of deception, right? Like any game of deception as a lawyer, everyone assumes you're a liar, right?
I guess so.
So
yeah.
they like automatically assume, oh, the lawyer's lying. So they like go for you first. So you have to factor that into your strategy, and you have to like double psychology that, right?
Ooh.
So it's actually more tricky because like they assume you're lying. So like you have to actually like tell the truth to get the lie out there. Right? Like it's really interesting. Like how you
the red herring of okay, I see. Interesting.
Yeah. Funny that you mentioned that minors in a stream. Vox Akuma has a possibility of being mentioned. Never forget and screw his PL's sanctities. I don't know anything about that. So yeah, I'm just gonna put my hands up and say me no know about that. Marksman of the 117 says, Callie, we are 65 billion in debt and only keep going up. Yeah, so a lawsuit, a couple 100,000 on a lawsuit. Yeah, they're in big debt. But once again, putting a couple 100,000 on a lawsuit is not going to be a drop. It's going to drop in the bucket for 65.
What's a couple 100,000 more? Whatever.
What's a couple 100,000 more?
YOLO.
Raise the debt ceiling.
At this point, Beatus, welcome as a new member. Thank you. Welcome. Please abuse those emojis. Please drop some monkeys, some objections, and some 39 IQs in the chat. Kenny Trickster says, Johnny Somali, I'm a proud Floridian, good sir. Well, shout out to my fellow Gator out there. I appreciate my swamp life people.
Florida man.
My Florida men and women. Rev Ursel says, more yellow. I'm interested in what Niji, HR, and PR actually does to help their employees, or are livers supposed to be just strictly contractors? Well, the thing is, from what I've heard, and this is my private conversations I've had with people, although I haven't had a chance to look at a Niji contract, what I've heard, I'm being very careful, right? What has been rumored to be the case is that they are styled as independent contractors in the contract. But what I've told you is that's not how the law works. You can say something in a contract, but if you are acting like they're an employee, even under Japanese law, it appears, based on my review of it myself and my private discussions with Japanese lawyers, where it doesn't matter what the contract says. It's how the relationship actually is.
Oh, I thought it was like just about the salary format that she received, but it's actually the way you're treated more than that.
It's so like it's the salary, the salary can factor in, but it's like a
Okay.
number of factors, and they look at it holistically. They look at the whole picture, right?
Hmm.
So are you being treated more like an employee or more like a contractor? So
Interesting.
So it's like a whole bunch of factors that come into effect, right? Like the payment structure, the work structure. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
management is huge,
Mhm.
right? The level of expectations,
Yeah.
right? Your type of work arrangement, is it a one-off, or are you on a regular cycle, right,
Mm.
of doing things regularly, month to month to month to
Yeah.
month? We have certain requirements of what to do,
Right.
right?
This feels very employee-ish. Yeah.
Yes. You're looking at it like, does this feel like an employee? Does this feel like not? Like, what is this? Suggestion for you paragals. What if Rima and Lydia could be a news duo channel? Or maybe False's new host, I think, could be super cute and getting huge growth. Also, getting your name in the base hit list. Oh, the
Would be cute
bandwagons
for
list.
sure.
Let's go. Blacklist.
Bandwagons list. Let's see. Is it there? I know it's been like updated multiple times now, including
Oh my god.
even during this, it was updated to add an extra reference that Rima is totally not a horse
Totally
girl, but
not.
totally not.
Totally not 100%.
But
Not
still wants
a horse
nothing to
girl.
do with Vosh. So, we're still good there. So yes, I'm sure Lydia may find her way onto the band list. I mean base list.
Baseless. Yeah, right.
Yellow, was it worth it? The clip was hilarious. No, that clip is hilarious. That South Park clip is classic. If you have not seen that one, that's like mwah, perfect. And it's so Niji. It's so Niji.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my, we got some mighty fine VTubers here, and we're just gonna trade them. Also, I'd like to see Lydia part of this awesome group. Thank you. And Rima, before this, you'd be laughing because in the chat before the stream started, everyone's like, "We need Team Pony."
Really?
Yeah. So you and False and his pony emoji
We're
in his
Team
pony
Pony
form
now.
are Team Pony
Cute.
now. You're now Team Pony.
Thank
You are not
Pablo.
you are not a V tweeter if you do not. Oh man, some of the V tweets are just stupid, which by the way gives you guys content forever because both you guys kind of cover the news, right? So like anything's going on. And I think it's you just see so many V tweeters getting into stupid like ad hominem stuff. I got this one. Kieran says, my little Rima.
I see
Aw.
what you did here. No, it's not cute. It's like My Little Pony is what he's referring to.
Clearly. I used to wonder what law magic would be. Instead of friendship is magic, law is magic. My little mindset for you to spend time with me. Oh God, big law adventure, tons of fun with you and strong and kindness easy. Oh God. Speaking of the play button, Doki got hers. Oh, Doki got hers.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I forgot to add that to my stream. Yeah, I forgot to
it's
add that to my
exciting.
slides. You're right.
Go Doki.
Yeah, good call.
What Billy Mitchell did is called a slap suit. Yes,
That's right.
slap means strategic
Slap
lawsuit
suit.
against public participation. So what that is if you're just suing people to shut them up because you're trying to drain them of money,
Yes.
right, and win purely by money, there's a certain type of action you can bring called an anti-slap, which is a pre-motion to dismiss. It's like very cheap, very quick, and the judge rules on it and says, "Oh yeah, you're trying to silence this person, so we're throwing this out." Right? It's a special type of motion. Most states in the United States have this to prevent big corporations and governments from just suing everybody for defamation to silence them.
Yes. Right.
So
Exactly.
that's anti-slap. That is a very important protection. So thank you for bringing that up. Lets me explain that. And it's come up in certain instances when corporations are trying to silence people usually.
Right.
Who would win at the Nijisanji Best Award? Niji, Vactor, or VReverie? Today is LM's harem time. I don't know. I have to cover VReverie. Lydia, I know Rima said she's gonna cover it, right? But have you covered VReverie?
Yes. Actually today. So I just did it like in stream today. So it's gonna come out. Yes.
Okay,
Well,
cool.
I still think Wactor is definitely
The crown.
has the most egregious
Yes.
stuff they've done so far, and then VReverie is not there's nothing confirmed. It's really all up in the air. We have very little information yet, so
it's all speculative about
it's all
VReverie,
speculative. It's more about the talents hinting that oh, they got a great manager now, and finally I have a manager that like watches my content, that cares about me, that's not gaslighting me all the time.
Oh, that's
And
what that's what the VReverie people are saying?
yeah. They're saying that like they would get gaslit, and then their manager would disappear, would ghost them for several weeks, and yeah.
Yeah,
It wasn't a great workplace environment.
Yes, so like, oh, the manager said good job, and I almost cried today. It's like,
yeah,
oh my
somebody
god,
said that. Yeah, word for word.
Yeah,
that's actually pretty cool. That's
They're
pretty
scarred.
bad.
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah, that's
It's
like
so sad.
traumatic.
Yes.
Yeah.
By the way, in the chat, I put the poll: who's the worst, Niji, Vector, or VReverie? You guys can vote. You guys can vote in the chat. When will LM get a brony PNG? Never.
Trained Pony Squad. Not that I'm in it,
but they are sipping for your ear twitches. Love to say, I love the level of ear twitches in the stream.
Thank you.
Both of y'all. By the way, is there an anti slap? No, that's just called a lawsuit.
The Uno, no you reversal.
Yeah, that's not how it works. Oh, Kieran says VReverie is based in my country of Singapore. Oh yeah, shout out to Singaporeans. They used to be a good agency, but graduations and what the girls said on their PL, I am so ashamed. Hey, let me just say this, guys, and let me be very clear about this. And I want to be very clear this about when I speak about Vector or Niji or any company. I am not speaking for all Japanese companies. Not all Japanese companies are Niji. Some of them are clearly taking care of their folks. It seems like by and large, people happen to be more happy with, for example, Cover Corp, right? I mean, right here, like Kieran, who says, for the info, I know Cover Corp, when it comes to Dono sponsors memberships, basically gets 50%. I know the CEO of Cover, Yagu, Best Girl, earns less than the talents. Imagine Riku of AC, no excuse. Yeah, so like, I don't want to make it sound like all Japanese companies are evil or like all Japan is evil. That's not true. No. It just so happens that there are two companies, which happen to be Japanese companies, which are doing this. And it opens it up to other Japanese companies to do this. I'm not saying all of Japan is evil. I love Japan. I love visiting Japan. I will be there very soon again, right? I will spend significant amounts of my time in Japan because I really care about, I genuinely enjoy Japan for so many reasons.
Oh yeah, it's
right?
beautiful.
But it's very beautiful. I love visiting. I love the people. It's super kino. I love the analog stuff. I like, just like, there's so much about Japan I love. And you know, the air quality. Too. The air quality is way better than either Seoul, where I lived before, or Bangkok. It's like not even close. Like it's trash air quality compared to Japan. But you know,
the vending machines, the vending machines.
Which, by the way, you know, if they stacked all the vending machines up end to end in Japan, they would reach to Hawaii.
What? Oh my god.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
How many vending machines there are.
Right, let's ride the vending machine train. Let's go.
It's nuts. But like, I love that. I love all that stuff about Japan, but you have to be able to tell the pros and cons, right? Yes. Every place has pros and cons.
Oh yeah.
So does America. So does Canada. So does everywhere else has pros and cons.
What? Canada?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
It's cold here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cold, and you know, Rima, I have a best friend. He does like a lot of real estate. He's a friend here. He does real estate in Toronto. And if you want to talk about like, you want to talk about like rent prices being high.
Yeah. You can rent half of a queen size bed in Toronto. Do you remember seeing that one? Did you ever see that?
No, I haven't seen that one.
It was some like real estate agent listing where it's just like it's like one apartment and you rent like half of a queen bed.
Half of a bed.
No.
Yes.
That's disgusting, though.
And then people were like, "This is dumb," and they're like, well, I had someone here before, but they left." And you're just like, "Oh, that doesn't."
Somebody paid for this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Pay for half a bed.
Yeah. And by the way, I said the negatives, there's always positives, right? Like there's always positives, right? Like, you know, there's a positives and negative. Like Canada has beautiful nature, right? I talked about Thailand. There's beautiful beaches here, right? The food is delicious, right? Like people from all over the world are here, right? There's lots of positives about everywhere. You just got to be honest about pros and cons of literally everywhere in the world. There's always pros and cons, right? NZ says, it's been 2 hours. Now I recommend this one. Lucy reacts to Pepper Coyote. It's like 3 minutes. Okay. So if I get to okay, so I will put that one in the queue. Thank you for following my rule, which is Yeah, I will show if it's 3 minutes or under. This is 3:22 though, so I'm only going to show 3 minutes because I enforce my rules strictly. Orange and
22
above, and it's
seconds
3 or
over.
less. 3 or less. I will show it at some point, and usually at the end of the stream. So I'll cue that up for the end. Thank you. For all the drama, it seems like Niji runs their talents much like a tape brother. Oh, no. Meanwhile, Wactor is attempting to cultivate erotic energy from a surprising source. 69 for 69. Oh my god. Someone was paying attention on my stream with Kirsha. Did you watch that, by the way? Either one of you, my stream with Kirsha?
No,
I
not yet.
stopped by.
We were getting pretty spicy, but she didn't know about Jack Murphy and the whole Jack Murphy saga, so I taught her about that. It was like really hilarious. It was a very spicy stream, but me and Spicy Fox Girl, we get
I
along
need to
very
finish
well.
watching it then.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, when you get to cultivating erotic energy from a surprising source in my read through of his blog post, you're going to be shocked to your core.
Oh my god.
Phoenix says, "Don't forget those special Japanese festivals." Yes. There's a similar one in Korea, right? We'll call it Fertility Celebration Festival.
Oh,
Have
nani?
you guys heard about this?
I think
No?
so.
I thought I only heard about the Cherry Blossom Festival.
Is it about like?
Oh, you're so innocent. You're so
yeah,
innocent.
no, yeah, I know.
Oh
what
no,
you're talking about.
my friend went to this and he totally streamed it. It is absolutely great. Let's see, here it is. It's called I'll say it in Japanese, so I'll get around the censorship. Kanamara Matsuri. Matsuri is festival, right?
Yes,
so
Matsuri
Kanamara, Kanamara. Search it yourself, right? Do your own research and be your own judge.
Interesting. I surely will.
Incognito.
Just please have incognito mode on. Do not be at work when you search this festival.
No.
Like, do not be like, "Hey, boss, they told me about this really cool Japanese thing," and you're fired.
That's a straight to HR.
Yeah, straight to HR. Kieran says, "Time for a lesson. Most CEOs would sit in their office. Yagu Best Girl interacts with his talents. He's taken care of all, given them all love. He sold stock investments for no higher cut. Pay Koto's dad's plane ticket home.
Wow.
Things a CEO would never do, he does. Yeah, and honestly, that's why you can tell the ones that go above and beyond. And you got to give shout out to the ones that are positive and give them praise. And by the way, I think fans I've seen the videos, right? We've played the clips. They love Yagu, and he is beloved as a CEO. Compare that to the Niji CEO.
Yes.
There is a clip of him. Well, it's not a clip, it's a stream, but he one of the talents is leaving after months and months of harassment because she accidentally said the word Taiwan on stream, and
yes. Coco, yeah.
There was this whole huge drama, and she leaves after a while, even after the drama calmed down.
Which, by the way, is nuts for saying the word. It's like,
how dare
she
you?
was reading her YouTube analytics. She wasn't even.
Yeah. It's like, what word do you want to use, right? Like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should have been mad at Google for displaying it like that, not her.
Right.
But anyway, he just starts crying. He just starts bawling. It was really sweet.
Oh.
Hey, that's ridiculous. Phoenix DS says, "Don't forget those." Oh no, I got that one already. There you go. Can you get a membership without being subscribed? Let's find out. We should subscribe. If you're not subscribed, what are you doing?
Come on, man.
What are you doing? Legal Mindset needs a fucking crocodile layer out.
Maybe I have a chance. You goddamn crocodile! Go back to the fucking Florida! Go back to the Florida, you fucking crocodile!
Yeah, we gotta get more art, more emojis. It'll happen. It'll happen. I'll get the crocodile emoji. All this talk and what you said in MLP reminded me of the jar.
No, not the jar. Don't. It's bad. It's bad. Okay.
I made fun of bronies for years, but now I sim for Rima. Is this karma?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Rabbit says, I'll make the LM pony big. No, bad Rabbit. Rabbit. Bad.
Do it.
Kieran says, Yagu literally just one of the best CEO around. He literally takes care of his sons and his daughters. Like, come on. We couldn't chant Yagu. We want him to be an idol singing on stream one day. Hey, I hope maybe one day I can interview him. You know, I get big enough, talk to enough people. I interview him, I'm very friendly interview, not asking about anything legal. We can just talk about running the business.
Yeah.
And why and why he decides to do it that way, right?
Yeah.
You know, like from a moral standpoint, right? Forget about the law. Like, fuck the law. Like, I don't care about that. I care about like doing what's right because it's right.
Right. And it makes no sense to like have like to take in talent, chew them up and spit them out. You know what I mean? Especially because like the onboarding, it just makes no like sense. Like you're wasting your own time by like treating people poorly, you know, and having low retention and like bunch of like it's a red flag if like you know, your manager's only been a manager for like 2 weeks. It's like this is sus. All sus.
Yep.
Super sus.
But I have a suspicion that like their onboarding phase there's not really a lot of onboarding going on. Like
no,
it doesn't look like they're getting PR training.
No.
Or media training.
Yeah.
I don't think they're getting any training. They're just bringing them in and being like, do this.
Yeah.
That is like, is the Wizard of Oz a VTuber?
It should be.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Is cereal a soup?
We're asking the big questions here.
This is a very important question. These are the ones that like get people in these are the fights that break up friendships.
Exactly.
Beautiful Origin says, how much does it cost to consult a lawyer or have a lawyer pursue a case or retain one? If you're a VTuber, is there a specific type of lawyer you might want to look for in general? Really great question. So this is the most lawyer answer ever. So I'm going to say it, and it's what you're going to hear from every single lawyer. So prepare. Ready. Here's the answer. It depends. Right? That's the most famous lawyer. It depends. It depends. So how much does it cost to consult a lawyer? Depends on what. So for example, to review a contract, that's a one-time thing, right? So if you're a indie VTuber who's going to sign with Hollow or sign with Phase Connect or whatever, right? And you just want somebody to review your contract and it's a one-time thing, that's going to cost you not so much. You can do that, I imagine, for a couple $100, right?
How many pages?
So for example, I mean, if it's a reasonable contract, if it's like, let's say it's up to 50 pages or so, like a lawyer should be able to do that for a couple $100. I do that for a couple $100, right? So like, if it's just like someone said, okay, review my contract, I do that regularly. If it's kind of $100, it's fine, right? Pursuing a case is different. That is ultra expensive. When you're talking about lawsuits, you're talking about 6 figures, right? And at least 5, even to start. Your retainer, I have a good friend who just did just a minor case in the US, at least $20, $40, $50, $60,000, right? Minimum, just to start out with, right?
Yeah.
So a lawsuit is expensive because there's a lot of time and they're billing out per hour. There's got a lot of back and forth. You got to go into court, right? There's a lot of stuff involved in a case. That's even before discovery, right? Which is going in and doing depositions. We have to hire a court reporter. You have to do all this other stuff. When you talk about a case, 6 figures is very real.
Wow.
So if you're talking about lawsuits, it's different than just having a lawyer look at your contract, say, is it fair? Or maybe just consulting with them about what are your options, right? You can do that for a little bit less. You know, I would look for a lawyer that specializes in either entertainment law, right? Like working with entertainers, particularly if they work with anybody who works virtually, who's done any remote work, who's also a VTuber. You know, a good thing is recommending ones that have experience in this industry, that have experience doing this type of thing. That would be one I would look for. And also maybe one that has experience dealing with those types of companies. So maybe has experience dealing with Japanese companies. That might be a useful one. But go ahead.
A 1 in a million lawyer.
Well,
oh my God.
Somebody suggested in my chat, like there's some lawyers that take their pay cut off the winnings of the, is that actually a thing?
It is a thing, but they're not going to do that for a lot of these types of cases because they're just not that type of case where they're going to be getting winnings, right? There's going to be like something like that. Like, for example, in Florida, we have a law firm. This is just not me saying anything bad or good. I'm just explaining. We have a law firm called Morgan and Morgan, very famous plaintiffs law firm.
Yeah.
They have a bunch of ads in Florida. They will take you on commission. The thing is, they take cases they think they can collect money on, like a slip and a fall, like an automobile accident, because they know they can get the insurance company to pay. On a case like this is one that's much more difficult to collect.
They won't take it.
Yeah.
They're not
more
gonna take it.
unpredictable. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So the risk is too high. Now, maybe you could work out something where you pay like a retainer plus there's a little bit of commission in there, so that like if it like incentivizes them to get a settlement, maybe, right?
How much is a retainer like for okay, so like
depends on what the work is. It's like it always is, because that's why I say if you wanted, for example, me to do a project, we have to have a consultation so I understand what you want me to do.
Yeah.
If you want me to do 40 hours of work, I'm going to require a larger retainer than if you just want me to review a contract. It's going to take a day or so.
So is a retainer like a deposit, or is it like
yes,
like maybe like a percentage of what the full amount would be?
So a retainer is specifically in the context. These are great questions. A retainer is a amount of money you give to me, and it's sort of an account. Let's say you gave me a retainer of $5,000, right? We have an agreement where this money, you are paying me $5,000, and I am able to use that at a certain rate. So we agree at my rate. Let's say it's $200 an hour. So for every hour I work, I bill $200 to that retainer, and I'm allowed to take that from the retainer account to my personal account. I'm allowed to pull that out, and I have to put that in a special account that is just for the retainer. And the lawyers, you have to open up a special account so the interest goes to like a special fund, right? It doesn't go to you. You don't get to keep the interest. The interest goes off in a special account. It's a special type of account. So it's very, very specific, and it keeps lawyers from abusing abusing clients' finances.
Yeah.
Right.
Kind of like a trust fund, right? Like something
kind of like a trust fund, but it's billed out in a certain way. It's called an IALTA account. So it's a very, very specific thing. Different countries do it differently, but in the US, it's how it's done. But also, speaking of funding, thank you. It's difficult to pronounce. Dropping 50 Legal Mindset memberships so we can have a very, very green stream here. Thank you so much. We've got almost 200 new members here today. We're 8 new members shy of 200. So thank you so much for getting us up there today and helping all those out in here. Also, Natasha says, where's your VTube avatar with tentacles? I never promised tentacles.
Oh my God.
I never promised that, you perverts. Comparing Riku and Yagu is like comparing night and day or black and white. Yes. Very much true. Very much true. Someone said you can get a membership without being subscribed. During subscription, I found that out. Oh, cool. Very cool. Yagu reminds me a lot of Iwata in Nintendo. I'm not familiar. Nintendo is very litigious. In fact, I'm going to cover that Nintendo lawsuit, but Nintendo is very, very litigious.
I'm interested in why are they so litigious? I mean, I guess we'll find out, but
because they're trying to protect their IP.
Is it working out for them?
Yes, because their IP is so valuable. And if you look at the value of their IP, it's actually more like, for example, just their Pokemon stuff alone is worth more than all of the Disney IP.
Oh my God.
Like it's not close in terms of the global revenue. So the IP is worth a lot. That's why they are like so crazy about protecting it, because they want to maintain that control over that IP, and especially the merchandising and the revenue. So
how many lawyers do you think they have working at Nintendo?
They have a lot, but they can also contract out, because if it's in a different country, they may not specialize in that country. But by the way, Nintendo has an actual American subsidiary, right? They have Nintendo America. They're doing it the right way. I mean, you may not like it, but they're still doing it better than Niji, right? Like you can sue Nintendo America and there's actually assets for them to claim. Like if there's a labor dispute, like Nintendo will be held responsible because they're doing it the right way, right? They're being a responsible corporation. Niji is not.
No.
CEO Sakano of FaZe is running an anime rescue center. A waifu rescue center. It's like the like that's the whole meme of like FaZe recruits from the mental asylum. It's like it's kind of like the rescue center for waifus. God. The Shoujo Gun Run running a retirement home for a certain company. Speaking of company, Nijisanji, Riku Tazumi is the worst one. Yagu Hollow doesn't even forget it. He is #1 best girl. And then KMW gets 10 Legal Mindset
huge.
memberships. Thank you. And then it's difficult to pronounce. Says 8. You say yes, 8. I did say, but it got it there. And then he dropped another 10.
Yay.
So we are over there.
Nice.
Thank you much, Difficult and KMW. Thank you for getting us over that hump and getting us into 200s. We now have 207 new members. Thank you so much for supporting the channel and being so great. And also, thank you for supporting the waifus, because these girls here have been absolutely fantastic, and these guys have shot up in subs, and they are so close there. Let me just once again reinforce. We've got Rima here at 399.9, almost there to 40K.
Almost there.
Even if you're the replay gang, get her there. Get on your second account. I know you guys have those second and third accounts. You know,
Log into your
go
mom's
with all
account.
those. Let's get her up there. Log in your mom, your grandma, hide your kids, hide your accounts.
Thank
Subscribe to the Horse
you.
Girl. Also over here, make sure you're subscribed. Let me just do this window view here so it's easier. Make sure you're subscribed to Lydia. She is now at 8.27K.
Oh my god.
Wow,
So
we're shooting up.
Shooting
Let's
up.
get to 10 boys.
Let's do it. Get up our base cat girl here. Appreciate that.
That's
Subscribe
awesome.
for everything she's got up. VReverie. All the latest stuff to cover from these two girls. I love people that are just covering stuff in a really good way and going through the topics in a thoughtful manner. I just appreciate all those channels.
Thank you.
So thank you
you.
guys for covering good stuff on the daily. And it gives people a good thing, and also people like me a place to go as reference, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jade says, fun fact, there are in fact crocodiles in Florida. They're called the American crocodile. Yes, my hometown of Miami is the only place where there's both crocodiles and alligators in the continental US because there are crocodiles and alligators near our nuclear plant in Turkey Point.
Oh my
They
god.
cohabitate. Yes,
seems
crocodiles.
Near a nuclear plant.
They
That's
like the
gonna
water.
be
It's
some
very
scary
warm.
crocodile.
No kidding. Oh my god.
They're-
I
yeah,
know
there's-
you're from Miami.
They're like
That's
the
awesome.
Simpsons. They're like the Simpsons. Yeah, that's where I'm from. I moved away about 4 or 5 years ago. That was to Korea, and now I'm in Thailand. But
Did
still
you ever have a
home, you know,
Cubano
still-
sandwich?
Oh, I love them. You're required to speak Spanish to order stuff because there's literally places where if you go in English, you cannot order in English. So it's great.
That's awesome.
Don't trust Lydia. She's a massive corpo personality who pays her massive staff with only moldy bread. I escaped, but it's only a matter of time before. Did you have another chat? Yeah, there's a like ... Okay, it's like she offed you, you know?
Oh my
like,
god.
You were taken out by her. And
Poking them
stops us. Come for the Niji drama, sub for the base lawyer, join the membership for the
monkey とかさ
appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Rima, Lydia, and Nux. I'm starting to think the Canadians are taking over the channel. Wait, Lydia, are you Canadian?
Yeah.
Is Nux Canadian?
I'm
Yeah,
Canadian.
he's American Canadian. He's dual.
Oh no
Dual
way.
citizen. None this
Yeah, I didn't know
He's
that.
got a
Andy,
double
like,
debuff.
Andy told me he got screwed up because he signed up for his. He got monetized in Israel. So he has to have an Israeli bank account. Like, even though he's not Israeli, he has to have an Israeli bank account in order to like get the money, because wherever you click monetize is where you permanently are monetized.
No. He had his location there when he clicked on that. So
He was just
unlucky.
visiting Israel, and it's like,
No
oh
way.
god.
Sounds like a
That's
job
just-
for legal mindset.
No, I don't want that job. I do not want that job to fix that. Kieran says, one last super for me. Everyone in the chat, please share Lydia and Rima's channels. Yes, they are tagged in
Thank
both
you
the
so much.
title
Thanks.
and the description. So you can get their channels either from the title or the description. Just click there, you'll get them. Please say you and Doki Bird. I shall drop more on next stream. But also like, share, subscribe. 100 K subs, no less for
No
Rima
less.
and no less for Lydia. Thank you guys. I
Hey.
love supporting small creators. I love helping people out and having people back to the channel.
Yeah.
And then look, Hamsuke here, very, very cute for 125 Philippine pesos. Says, I really like Rima's resting face. It's either she's constantly in pain just looking at chat, or disgusted by the horse girl outfit. Keep it up.
Oh god.
Which one is it, Rima? Which one is it?
I try not to let the disgust from the horse allegation show too much, because if I show that it affects me, or if I tell people to stop, they're just gonna do it more. So
That's true. You're
I
right.
just try to not react. I'm like poker face.
Mm.
Yeah, you
Pump
gotta
up the
you gotta
poker
let it
face.
go. You gotta let it go.
Yeah.
DCB says, ignoring my $5. No, I am not. I'm gonna get it right now. I
How
see it.
dare
I
you.
see it here, my friend. Which says, pulled the trigger early, huh? See a doctor about that.
my.
Thank you guys. Messier said, have you already talked about how Bao, the whale VTuber, was cheated out of 16K by a merch company?
Yes.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I talked about that today.
Me too. Yeah. It was
What?
crazy.
So what was this recent?
Mhm.
It was today that she announced that she did get cheated, but there was signs that it was not going so well with that company for a while now. The
With
thing
the
is,
merch company?
Yeah.
yeah, the thing is, her manager was the owner of that merch company, and
Well, that's a conflict of interest right there.
yeah.
That's actually, by the way, in the California labor law, that's actually illegal. I was reading through
Oh,
the
really?
provisions, and you are not allowed, if you are a manager of somebody or their agent, you are not allowed to also have a merchandising deal with them as
Wow.
well. That has to be completely with a separate entity.
Oh,
Wow.
I wonder where she's based from.
Once again, these are the things that like are questions. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds pretty unethical.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it
Hmm.
does.
Because you've kind of got them in this double relationship where you're taking advantage of one. It's like what we call in the legal profession a conflict of interest. But
Mhm.
what is not a conflict of interest is indeed our base horse girl getting to 40K subs. Congratulations, Rima.
Whoa!
We are at
Huge!
40K here. We did it, baby. We did it.
Nice. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone, for smurfing her up to 40K. Really, really awesome. She does such good work, and her by the way, her thumbnails are such fire.
I was
Like,
gonna
look at
say
how
your
good some of
thumbnails
these
are like, mwah,
Thank you. We
bellissimo.
worked
And they're
like, really hard on
consistent.
them.
No, I really appreciate ones that have like a style and it's consistent. So like I
Yeah.
see it, and I'm like, this is a Rima thumb, like because it's like really, really good style.
Yeah.
I
And it's just like very consistent, nice. So yeah, just really like those. So big ups for
Thank
her. Big up
you.
for Base Pony Girl at 40K.
Yay.
Next stop, Fitty.
Yes. Never
Um,
stop climbing.
What happened to the turkeys at Turkey Point? Why am I suddenly scared? There were no more turkeys at Turkey Point. Disappearing super chat goes poof. Poof. Beautiful Origin says, at what point would a VReverie get a retainer for a lawyer? Is it a certain income, popularity, or before you can get on any hit list? Any other advice for a VTuber to protect themselves? Yeah, so here's what I said. I said the first thing you should do is pay the couple $100 for them to review your contract, right? Because I understand, look, most people, not just VTubers, most people are not financially educated or legally educated as to their rights. So you should get somebody to review that contract just to make sure that you have another set of eyes looking at it, and you don't just sign right away without looking at it. You actually review it, because it is a shame for you to go into something not knowing what your responsibilities are, and not knowing where you could potentially be screwed, not knowing what you're really going to have to do. It's worth it. Even if all they do is talk you through it and explain what you need to do, and you got to pay a couple $100 for that, it's going to be worth it. Do that at the upfront.
Yeah.
Then if there's no problems, then maybe you don't need a lawyer ever again. But if there is a problem, then you would go to retain a lawyer. So whatever the problem is, if there's a fight or dispute, you'd probably go to the same lawyer that you engaged to read the contract and say, hey, look, I'm having a problem now. And they're already familiar with the contract. So they might know how to pursue this, right?
Right.
And be able to tell you, and also the person who reviews the contract should be able to tell you where to go, how to complain, how to bring up a complaint, maybe who to talk to, right? These are things that should be dealt with up front. And then when there's a problem, you can pay the bigger retainer, right? That's later on, but you don't want to pay obviously a retainer up front. You don't want to pay.
No.
I'm not going to tell some poor, person who's a student or just starting out to pay 10,000 or 20,000. No, but a couple $100 you can afford. Look, work a couple shifts, get a couple $100. Your rig probably costs you thousands, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, Rima, what do you say? Like a standard rig is what, like 1K to 4K usually, like a 2D rig or 3D rig?
Yeah, I mean, depends where you get it. On Twitter, it's altogether, it's gonna be. I mean, yeah, the rigs start at 1K probably. Yeah,
For like
there's
a good
cheaper
rig.
ones, but they're probably gonna be scuffed.
They're cheaper.
Or
good.
new
amazing.
artists. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that sucks about but okay, I will say one thing though. As a person who is, approached by an agency and they're like, "Hey, you want to sign up, baby?" You know what I mean? And then for you to be like, "Let me take this to my
Like that,
lawyer." They're
just
like,
that.
"Ugh, God, you're gonna take it to a lawyer, maybe you're not a right fit for us after all." And you're like, "Oh no.
Yeah. I
like
mean,
there's
Well,
that
maybe-
predatory practice, right?"
Maybe that's a sign that's a bad company, right?
True. That's true.
If the company is afraid of scrutiny, maybe that's a sign that you should be careful dealing with that company.
That's also that the red flag is shown
It's-
early. You're right.
It's also just not very standard for some reason, because people don't really have any, like you said, monetary education or even legal education. It's just not common practice. So when I do that a lot, I ask them to take out stuff from the contracts, or I'll ask them to add stuff, and they always get a little
Miffed,
annoyed,
right?
even or with sponsors sometimes they're not used to that, and they
Like,
think
pushback,
you're picky
gross.
or you're being pushy
Yeah.
or you're being princessy, but I'm like, no,
Sorry.
I'm not signing it if there's not that. Yeah.
Yeah, you
you're
just have to
right.
put your foot down. It's like, sorry, everybody else is an idiot or doesn't know their rights, but that's not
Yeah.
your responsibility.
Mm.
You have to realize a contract is a contract. It's supposed to actually be negotiated by both parties.
Right.
It's not supposed to be this form that you don't read.
Yeah,
Right?
it's
That's
not like a
not how
dictatorship.
contracts are supposed
Yeah,
to work.
some they
Yeah.
just send you something by Google Doc, and I asked them to change stuff, and they were like, "Well, I don't know how to do it. No one's ever asked me to modify anything in a contract before." I was
It's
like,
a
"That's
document."
crazy. That's
Yeah.
It's a
crazy."
doc. Change the doc. Here's how you do it. Delete.
Yes. It's carved in stone. Jeez.
Yeah. Lorelai says Phase is more of a rescue center when you realize a lot of the talents are actually ex-Sundaria.
Ooh, Sundaria.
Sundaria.
Yeah.
Kieran says, one more thing I want to add. When we get, it's always one more thing, right?
And another
when
thing.
we're gonna get a game where Legal Mindset is Phoenix Wright, along with Lydia and Rima as co-counsel, AA parody. That would be
co-counsel.
great.
Objection.
That would be great.
Yes.
Definitely, yes. Best paralegal waifus for sure. For sure. George Key says, "Are you on the Niji Stan hit list?" No, but I am on the base list of you, the bandwagon list. You to subscribe to Legal Mindset on here. Also, our favorite horse girls on here. Totally not a horse girls on here.
Totally not a horse girl.
Rima is here. Totally not a horse girl, but still stay away, Vosh. Still there. Emperor Creatine. I'm gonna say it in the right one. Hey there, baby. You look like you'd be a good fit for my totally above the board VTuber company. Nah, there's no need for a lawyer to look at the contract. Who's that guy in the gray suit behind you? Lawyer
like-
ASMR.
Yeah, I'm like, you got some lawyer ASMR in your future. sir.
Lawyer roleplay ASMR.
Yeah.
CEO
Yeah.
style.
Yeah, exactly. Swarch says, hey, if you ever want to know something insane, check out Action Park, 80s water park named the Class Action Park. Yes, there's a movie made out about that. Actually, a movie about that.
Oh, I've not seen that.
Yeah. Ted Krim says, feels wired to agree with California. Can we rain rednecks onto Nijisanji?
Oh no.
Well, I think what we got to do is rein the press, rein the PR against them, right? Which is where they've been losing. And I think that's where the real, the shaming them, people can call it drama, but this is actually accountability, right? And this accountability by their public actions being exposed, by these things now being translated back into Japanese. So now the Japanese are finally learning about this. This is the true justice for Nijisanji, I think. So what you're telling me is, unlike police, managers in California have an actual duty to protect.
Oof.
The funny thing is, in California, this is like kind of a little bit of a law joke, but like California, the police are like kind of not allowed to do certain police things anymore. So like,
Really?
for example, like stealing is technically legal in California. Like it's like not arrestable. It's really weird.
What? But then who stops them?
Well,
from
it depends.
stealing?
Yeah, it's like, it's kind of funny. It's like if it's under $900, like it's hard to stop them for stealing. It's really interesting. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Avatar Fox says for 500 says, hey, 2 cute girls and 1 strange guy. We almost achieved the 40K. No, we got the 40K. We need to push Lydia to at least 10K. Come on, let's do it for Lydia.
Yes,
she
absolutely.
is at 8.27K, so she's the next one we can get there.
Thanks,
Can we
guys.
get a shout out on our new Based Cat Girls channel? Yeah, guys, I've been shouting her out all night. Come on,
Thank
come
Thank
on.
you.
And our girl, I just double checked on her right here. She is still at I think 8.27 here. So
Wow.
let's double check her here. I think she's still at 8.27, but she's doing absolutely great. And
Thanks, guys.
8.38.
Nice.
Ooh,
Let's go.
yay. Let's
So we're
go.
almost at 8.5 here. We'll probably get there before the end of this. But yeah,
Aw.
much love for her for sure.
Thank you, guys.
Solar Solid says, do you think Niji not knowing Western laws because Niji N was originally based in India and undoubtedly off base about Japan? They didn't have, no, this is the thing about Niji. They didn't actually start a subsidiary in any of the countries, not Korea, not India, not America, not Canada. They didn't actually start a subsidiary. All they did was start a name, a branding. Like it was just a branding. So there was no actual office in any of these places. They didn't start a physical subsidiary or even a on paper subsidiary. It's like a subdivision. They called Niji En. Why are skeletons scary? They have a femur.
Femur.
What the fuck?
I love Corona.
I
So
know.
great.
So cute.
A 2% emoji would be funny. Okay, I'll consider that one. That's a good one.
Yes.
We have a butcher shop here called Paul McCartney, ex-Beatle, big mad when he found out. Yeah, but guess what? That's not exactly the same thing. So you can be mad, but that's not one for one. So even he doesn't have a case on that one. Kieran says, remember when you said if we don't bring on guests, you will do it even more? Well, let me challenge you. Don't bring on Hollow Live guests. I dare you. Oh, I will definitely bring them on if they can come on, right? And the thing is, a lot of times, frankly, I understand why people would be anxious about a lawyer because I could ask them questions that might get them in trouble.
Oh,
right?
yes, like NDA stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and if I was like being a dick, I could do that. So they might be afraid of that. But hopefully they see that when I interview people that are indies and stuff like that, obviously I'm treating people in a very friendly way and not in a way where I'm trying to push them into any uncomfortable territory. In fact, I recognize what they can't talk about, and I would not ask somebody anything they couldn't talk about. Right. And for my guests like that, like even sometimes, I mean, if someone's got something they don't want to talk about, they'll just DM me and I won't talk about it. Right. LM Breaking New Ground, Law Friend Experience ASMR. No.
I'm looking over your
Give us your objection impression.
Yes.
Got it. That's coming soon. For Totally Not a Scam Corporation, look up Amanogaw's Sheena intro lore video.
I'm not familiar with this. I'll have to look at this reference.
No, I'm not at all either.
Same.
Yeah, not familiar. For Nintendo, you could talk to the Moon channel. He's an IP lawyer. If my memory's right, Moon also has a quite new view. So I will look that up. I've never heard of Moon before. So I will look up the Moon channel, and I will reach out to them. If you can tag them or tag me, that would actually help. But always happy to talk to people that kind of know more, have a different specialty, right? IP is not my specialty, although I'm generally familiar with it.
Yeah, watch this channel. I don't think they're a legal channel. They're just like documentary about stuff, but they have really good videos.
Yeah, a lot of times people get confused about like what a channel is about or not.
Mm.
EA would buy out the bar out, then shut it down.
That's an option.
Yeah.
It's also a dick move, but
Yeah,
okay.
huge dick move. Yes.
But if they're willing to sell, like if they are willing to sell, then okay, sure, right? Buy them out. Keep the Nijisanji rabbit hole going. Also, Lydia and Rima rock. Yes.
Thank
They're
you.
really great. And I look forward to having them on again sometime in the future.
Yay, thank you.
Zypher Warrior says, just a note, Eidos originally owned Tomb Raider, but was bought out by Square Enix, who sold Tomb Raider and other properties to Embracer Group. Yes, this is often how it goes. IP is bought, sold, and often the big money is made when you sell your IP. Right? A man and his son walked into a forest with a lantern and a shovel. The boy said, "Dad, I'm scared." The dad said, "You're scared? I'm the one who has to go home alone."
What?
Wait, what?
Eh?
Okay.
Honey?
Do a Danganronpa that says, no, that's wrong. Okay. VReverie is the dad that went to get milk. Nishi is the dad that uses the belt. And Wachter is just straight up uses fist.
Oof, oof, oof.
Went to get milk. Oh my God. That's that's bad. Nijisanji McLotty says for Canadian 5, Nijisanji actually went against the government and they settled. What are the bets that they'll only get 2% of the settlement?
It'd be karma.
That'd be karma. That would be karma. It's like you get 2%. Marksman 117 said, hey, they said a Cali was going to be 80 billion in debt. We came under at 65 billion. That means we're doing great.
Oh, we
Money
saved
printer
up.
Brrr, set us on fire. Listen, that's
Nice.
nothing compared to the federal level. So yeah, no, I got you there. Royal Onion says, how can you be a contractor if the channel owns the company you stream on? This is what I'm talking about. These are the elements they look at. They own you. That's not a contractor. They literally own everything. How is that a contractor? Right?
Because it's such a permanent thing.
It's permanent, right? They own it all. No, the control level there is too high for it to be an independent contractor.
Yeah.
Zaion LanZa Archive here. Oh, what's up? Let me know if you need any VODs. All were saved except for the member of the day. Oh, thank you so much. I will let you know. I think more than that, I just hope we get a word out there today. I hope that you guys learn that, Zaion LanZa was really wrong by them, and not just wrong by them, but frankly, it seems that she not just had a case, but they were doing what was wrong legally. It appears they may have been doing what's wrong legally, and Zaion was really not doing anything wrong. In fact, they were, if anything, shirking their duty to Zaion, right? Yeah. So it goes beyond she did nothing wrong. They were in the wrong. Niji was in the wrong in this. So hopefully that's some vindication to hear that from especially a lawyer doing a legal analysis. Go ahead.
Honestly, her statement was very apologetic too. Like she never really blamed them. She accepted her responsibilities, even a little bit too much even. Like I felt like she didn't deserve all of that. And even after that, I feel like this whole time she's been gaslit into thinking she was like a troublemaker.
Yeah.
And that she did wrong. But no, now we're realizing today that this isn't true at all. It's the other way around even.
She was like the whistleblower, right?
Yeah.
Yep. You should watch Mata and Kuro talking about how they get free therapy and helpful managers compared to their past lives, foreshadowed alongside Seiyu. Yes.
They get free therapy too.
Okay. That should be included.
They probably need it. They probably need it now.
Yeah. Well, it's a demanding job, right? It's like it's mentally draining, and absolutely, like that should come with like the management. Like sometimes I wonder, I'm like, what are these guys actually doing for their talents, right? I mean, like they don't get protection when they get doxxed. A lot of people have to pay for their own assets. It's just like, what's going on?
Ted, I'm not your lawyer. So as I understand it, you taking my money from me and give me legal advice.
$5 lawyer.
No. Bad, Ted. Bad,
$5.
Yes. This $5 worth of your advice, legal advice. I'm not your lawyer. There you go. Your legal advice has been rendered. Gordo says, I can give you another one for that list. Akio Air. Yes. Have you guys covered Akio Air?
Yeah, that was the one with the miner that they hired a miner.
Oh boy.
A lot of small agencies imploded at the same time, so they're like it's all muddled. But yeah, they hired a miner, and then everybody kind of came out and said that they weren't comfortable with it. Some people didn't know that she was a miner. They were gonna work alongside one. They were really uncomfortable.
That's fair.
Yeah. Maiden Gain Z06 says, if a North American country government voids a Japanese contract from Niji due to a labor law infraction, do you think Niji will drop the Niji EN? No, because I what I think they'll do is they'll take the Niji EN people under the main company, and they'll just get rid of like Niji EN. They'll just say, okay, it's all Niji now, and it's all Japanese, and it's all in Japan. So they'll try to do that. I don't know if that's going to help them though, because what they're doing is still wrong regardless. Doesn't matter who the contract is with, because it's ultimately with Niji, right? Because there's no separate entity. So I don't think it changes the analysis much, is what I'm saying.
I feel like they
Some-
would just avoid people from California. They'll try to circumvent like this law some way, or they'll be like, if you want to work with us, you got to move to Japan.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
that's the thing I'm thinking of. Like they make like a big giant dorm, and then like they control
Yeah.
where you live, they control
That's
where you eat, they
worst.
control everything.
Well, that's like what they do in I mean, they do that with like English teachers often, right? That's like what they do.
Oh,
They
they
put
do?
you in like their if you don't know about Japan or Korea, like I knew a lot of English teachers when I was in Korea. The company provides your housing. So
Yeah.
so the thing is, if you misbehave, they kick you out of your housing, right? It's kind of an existential thing, right?
Yeah.
So
They did that
really,
in for with mining towns in America too, didn't they? At one point,
yes,
Yeah.
company towns,
considered
yes.
illegal.
They also have but these other countries don't do it that way, right? And they'll have your key to your place. I mean, I've heard about stories in Korea where somebody didn't show up for work and the manager literally came over and like opened the door and checked on them, you know?
And
it's
sometimes
like,
they can hold
imagine
your
that.
passports too, right? And like your legal documents.
That's illegal. No,
Okay.
that's illegal. If they do that, that's some black company shit.
Yes.
If they're holding your legal documents, they're not supposed to hold that. You actually are required to have your ID on you at all times.
That makes sense.
So like they're not supposed to have that. So that's wrong. Someone said during Debt versus Heard, you mentioned a lawyer's $325. Oh yeah, that's for litigation. Yeah, that's low. My billable
That's
rate, my
low.
like government rate, which was discounted, was $250 an hour minimum.
Wow.
Right? That was like the discount rate. Right. So yeah, 325 is totally. I billed clients at 400, 500 easily, depending on who they are, what they are. When I was doing work for Universal Studios, it was much higher, right? Because it's a corporate rate. Entire districts in Central California have no Walgreens or Walmarts because if you don't pass a 950 threshold, the DA won't prosecute. Yes, this is a real thing. This is not made up.
Wow.
Professional Gentleman says Idle Corp pays for everything they need to debut, from equipment to customized model rigging, plus a $3K discretionary bonus. That leads you to believe in the analysis, because they pay for this, that they are employees. This is something you do for an employee, you do not do for a contractor. This is a big difference.
And especially because like the assets and all the stuff stays with the company, right? So like when someone graduates, everything gets privated. It's not like you can take that and use that as your portfolio for your next job, right?
Right.
You're not credited. It's just it's a little odd.
Yeah. From Oshino here, I've added Lydia to the list with a few changes. Adorable based Neko girl, please sub to her.
Oh,
also,
thanks.
Legal Mindset, check out his YouTube page. It's amazing. Thank you so much. Appreciate
Thank
that,
you.
guys. Absolutely great. Thank you. Oshino for updating that one. Black Sheep Boy says, with regards to Niji, what would justice be like? Justice would be like, justice would be like them making a public statement, them paying back Doki, them reimbursing Seiyu. Like that would all, I think that would be justice. I think that'd be justice.
And then like some money for like mental anguish, right?
Yes, just paying them. They're like, so paying them. Niji, sign of the dotted line. Legal Mindset runs in. Objection!
Yes.
Mommy Rena says, forget to hit send. And I'm excited for FF7 Rebirth. I was drooling over Sephiroth. Reason I forgot to send. We need a layer.
Yes, Sephiroth is, his hair is, could be in a shampoo ad campaign.
Yes, totally. There we go.
Cuted says, did you bring up the Idol as in the VTuber company drama? Honestly, it's dumb because where they're based, like for months, is it now? Is it okay? Well, it's always where the worker is based, right? So the analysis that I'm doing is usually where the person is based. So I mean, yes, the company is going to come in, but when I'm looking at like labor laws, typically I'm going to look at, okay, where is that person who's working for that company? Right? Chevelle says the Seiyu lore video hits hard if you've not watched it yet. Yes, I have. I have watched that. It is good. It's beyond 3 minutes. So play it after. So any color stocks were going up before the stream. When the stream started, they started falling. Coincidence? Oh, oh man. Ultimate Slacker said, a what if question. What would you do or say if Niji asked you to be their defense lawyer? I'd say no. I mean, I'm not a Japanese lawyer. And also, like, I think I have a conflict now almost because I've covered it in a way that might be detrimental to them. So
a moral conflict too?
No, I've made statements that would be detrimental to Niji.
Yeah.
So like, it just wouldn't be good for me to be their lawyer, right? Even if they asked me to, I wouldn't.
Would you ever be like Doki's lawyer?
If she was in America, but I'm an American attorney, not a Canadian attorney. So it'd be,
right.
once again, it would be negligent of me to represent that I know Canadian law when I'm literally not a Canadian lawyer. So
Okay, good point. Good point.
I can read it, I can do an analysis. Like I said, my whole thought is like not to be the perfect lawyer that knows laws everywhere, but to have a elevated analysis that's a professional analysis versus people on Twitter just saying whatever the fuck they want to say, which is just not true.
Yeah.
King Lugia says, personally, I prefer Cloud's fluffy chocobo hair. Okay.
Ooh,
okay.
yes.
Bada says, if you ask Rick Ashley for the movie Up, he won't because he's never going to give you up. But never going to give you up. He's letting you down.
That's
Fighting monkey とかさ。
I see what you did there.
Hey.
Brenda Beside says, have you ever covered the recent Insider AMA? I know Lydia did it, but I want to hear your thoughts. I have not. So you covered this, Lydia? Or Lydia's video?
Yeah, yes. I cover lots of stuff. Yes, it's kind of overwhelming. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I think that's the insider document, I'm assuming.
I assume so.
I think yes. It's really interesting because like sometimes I'm just like I'm like, am I like fed information? Is this actually real? A lot of it I have to obviously for legal reasons say like this is all speculation. We don't know for a fact.
You have to be careful. I actually have in my part of my Disney coverage, I actually can say this now. We had a person that came to us and represented that they were working for the company, and we found out they weren't. And like it was probably somebody who's like trolling, trying to get us in trouble. So you got to be careful. Don't assume that because you're sent something, it's like, oh, this is an anonymous source, that it's true. You have to caveat it because you never know what people are doing and what their intentions are. Sometimes they literally want to give you fake stuff in order to throw you off.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Absolutely.
So be very careful with that and always say, hey, look, this is a tip. This is anonymous, whatever, right?
Yeah. Or like, this is a 4chaner who might be a VTuber at Niji. Like, we don't know at the end of the day sometimes, you know?
Florida lawyer or litigator?
Yes. Hey-o.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Joking. I appreciate y'all. Money everywhere. Thank you so much, Geozin. Appreciate you,
Monkey
brother.
money.
Monkey money.
Yeah.
Oyamada says yellow for us going yellow. Oyamada says looks like Yuzu is in some merch businesses. Bow. Are they? Is it? They make emulators. Are they in a merch business?
In the same merch issue as Bao.
Oh,
I don't know what happened with. Well, Bao just lost her money and her merch, so I'm not sure the Yuzu what's going on with that. I thought they were just getting sued by
Nintendo.
Nintendo,
Yeah,
that's what I thought too. I didn't know there's any more going on there than like that. So I don't know. I don't know. But anyways, let me read these two, and then we're going to have to wrap here. Northern Link says, just wanted to wish you a great stream. Also, as for our dev team, we went out, we needed a break. Just want to hear you watch, make a coffee. Anyways, keep up the good work. Just want to say hello. Congrats on 135K. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for supporting me. And thank you for helping me and my guests here get to their subscriber goals. Thank you for subscribing to Rima.
Oh, thank you
getting
so
her to
much.
40K today, and to Lydia, because you guys' support is what got them there. So thank you,
guys.
Kieran says some smaller but also bad VTuber company. Even one is a bad browser company. Crunchyroll Hime, Opera GX Aura, and Takoyaki Studio, literally Octopus Ball Studio. Come examples. Okay. Okay. LM, check out Rero Ron. Yes, that's been suggested to me to check out Rero Ron. So I'll make sure I put that in there. Also, last one here, Eclectic says, last yellow before I sleep, Seiyu and Doki are both sweet individuals and they were unjustly terminated. So far, both of them just want to move on. Any lawsuits would be out of character for either one of them. Yes. Yes. And I'm not saying for them to sue. I'm just saying I like to get the word out there that they were wronged and that Nijisanji was in the wrong about that. Oh, Yuzu is a VTuber, not the company.
Yes, I was just going to mention that. Yes. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Meant the VTuber, not the company. Thank you, guys. Thank you. So you confused me. Too much Yuzu here. Too much Yuzu.
Same, I know.
It's a fruit too. So I mean, okay. I motion that we should be called the litigators. Okay. All right, guys. All right, nesticles. The chat says saying Yuzu Sanagi. Okay. Thank you guys for clarifying. All right, well, guys, please say thank you to both of our guests today. I know Rima's got to get some sleep, and thank Lydia here for joining as well. They've been absolutely fantastic. On the way out here, we're going to watch this Lucy reacts to Pepper Coyote. If you guys need to go, if you want to stay for the clip, you can stay for the clip. It's 3 minutes. But thank you so much, guys. I will be back tomorrow, probably around the same time. So I'll probably do one the same time. I may do double stream. So I may do one that's in the PM and then in the AM. But I'm going to be going to see Dune in like 5 or 6 hours. So I'm going to go be doing that. And
I'm such a Dune fan.
Stream. Yeah, go tell me what you think. We can even do a review. That would be awesome, Rima. If you see it, then we can do a review.
Yeah.
So do it.
I will.
So anyways, thank you guys. Subscribe to these guys. And here we go. Without further ado, we have Lucy reacts to Pepper Coyote.
Is it Lucy Pyre? Oh yeah, it is her. Oh my god. That's gonna be crazy.
What, Drax? Wait, what the fuck? This is the song.
Lucy P. Heart.
No cock like horse cock? Bro, what?
What?
Who the fuck sent this again?
We're gonna get
Vosh?
demonetized for this. Vosh.
My neighbors ask me why
No. No.
and who that fellow was who came by yesterday.
Oh.
I quickly turn my face before I start to blush. Cause frankly, there is nothing I can say.
That's catchy.
I've always had a thing for pushing the extreme.
It is a catchy song.
Yeah.
I just gotta
What is this cooking? What the fuck is this cooking?
Huh? What?
Give me more of what I really need. Cause there is no
No.
What?
Oh
God.
Oh
my God!
Oh no.
Vosh!
Oh, thanks.
Vosh, what did you do?
Oh
Oh god.
What?
We're so demonetized for this.
No.
Oh no.
Well, whatever monetization you had left is just gone now.
Yeah. Okay,
Oh my
yeah, I
God.
think we're good. I think we're good on that. I think we know where that one went. Thank you guys for that. Thank you, Triple J, for becoming a member. See you later, litigators. Oh, that's actually really rhymey.
Yeah.
Rosa Kid, that's actually really good. I like it. Been a while, lit a crocodile. The ultimate trio comes together. In my experience, most companies will slime their way out. This is not a startling mob. It's the final boss.
Yes.
Mm.
Latin
Very
music
true.
starts playing.
On that note, guys, thank you so much for joining. I'll see you later. And be gone. Away with
Thank
you. Away
you.
with you.
Bye bye.
See ya.
Bye. Thanks, guys.